Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Krypton Life Martial Saint, Invincible from All Lifespan. Chapter 21. 3 days later. The sun shines through the sparse clouds and shines on every corner of the small courtyard behind the mountain. The rich blood-colored evil spirit enveloped Lu Yuan's body. It made him look like a demon. At this moment, Lu Yuan suddenly opened his eyes, and a bright light flashed. Spiritual power gathered all over his body, and these spiritual powers were swallowing up the bloody evil energy on his body bit by bit. Finally, the spiritual power all over Lu Yuan's body took on a blue and white color. Blood Fiend Dan, Pure Yang Kung. The two martial arts that assist in forming pills are activated with all their strength. Inspired by the Blood Fiend alchemy, Lu Yuan's dantian was like a huge mouth, greedily absorbing the surrounding spiritual energy. The power of devouring is like a black hole. Never stop. Then transform it into your own cultivation. After 3 days of baptism, Lu Yuan's dantian expanded countless times, turning into a sea of spiritual power with no boundaries in sight. Two beast shadows even condensed in the ocean of spiritual power. Black Dragon, Black Phoenix. The two mythical beasts chased each other in the ocean of spiritual power. Their speed was extremely fast, like two streams of light crossing the sea-shattering surface and stirring up thousands of waves. The originally calm sea surface gradually began to rotate. The center of the vortex is where Lu Yuan's dantian is. With the assistance of Pure Yang Kung, the power drawn from the essence and blood of other disciples began to merge with Lu Yuan's own power. The two forces entangled and circled each other. The result is a yin-yang fish pattern. It even bursts out with dazzling light. After practicing for a long time, he was dripping with sweat, as if he had been dragged out of the water. The bedding was soaked with sweat. The pressure of spiritual power became stronger and stronger, and even in the end, the entire ground was shaking slightly. 2 hours later, above Heihuan Peak, the sky was originally clear, but suddenly there were dark clouds. The whole mountain was shrouded in darkness, and you couldn't see your fingers. Everyone was very surprised and didn't know what happened. Such a powerful spiritual power fluctuation, who is about to break through? What level of breakthrough can lead to such a big fluctuation? Baodan realm, or, it can't be the primordial spirit realm. The nearest cardinal couldn't even move his body under this pressure. At this moment, the black clouds in the sky began to twist. A huge spiritual storm connected the heaven and the earth, and endless spiritual power was continuously integrated into the storm. The black clouds and pure white spiritual energy blended together, making it impossible for people to distinguish each other. The bottom of the spiritual storm is connected to a courtyard on the mountain behind Heihuan Peak. There are elders from Heihuan Peak stepping on the void. She set her sights on the mountain behind Heihuan Peak, which was the source of the vision. Who on earth can condense the gold core to have such a vision? If this person is from Heihuan Peak, why didn't he notify us Baodan monks to protect him? It's a bit strange. At this moment, in the black and white spiritual power storm, a 5-clawed golden dragon with shining golden light condensed, and a proud phoenix with the flames of the 9 nethers all over its body. Dragons and phoenixes are flying. The sword shines everywhere. The power contained in it made this elder in the Danbao realm feel great pressure. So scary. This, no matter who he is my disciple of Heihuan Peak. When the other party stabilizes his realm, he will naturally announce the news. Although this elder really wants to find out who has formed the gold core and has broken through to the realm of Bao Dan. But she could only wait patiently. After all, you are most sensitive when you break through. If you forcefully explore the opponent's details at this moment, it is easy to become enemies. Became an enemy of a newly promoted Baodan realm powerhouse. That's not a good thing. On this day, the black and white spiritual vortex that appeared on Heihuan Peak, as well as the vision of flying dragons and phoenixes, shocked the entire 9 Shadow Demon sect. The disciples from every mountain peak focused their attention on Heihuan Peak. However, all inquiries yielded no results. No comment. During the critical period when I, Senior Heihuan Peak, am making a breakthrough, no one is allowed to enter the mountains behind Heihuan Peak. Otherwise, we won't be polite. This female elder from Heihuan Peak was very tough and blocked everyone's curiosity by herself. Everyone could only stand and observe from a distance. It is said that more than 200 years ago, there was a senior from Heihuan Peak who practiced in seclusion in the forbidden area of the back mountain. He would not leave the seclusion until he broke through the elixir. I have also heard about this. It is said that the man practiced the power of 10 dragons and 10 elephants, which is consistent with today's vision. Call. Lu Yuan let out a deep breath. When he opened his eyes again, the whole world seemed different. His perception has become sharper, and he can even perceive some things that he could not detect before. The spiritual power, turbidity, and murderous aura floating in the air. This feeling is very strange. It seemed that he had lifted the veil covering his eyes, and what he saw now was the true appearance of the world. Lu Yuan closed his eyes again. As consciousness flows, Lu Yuan could clearly see his internal organs, and even every meridian in his body. Finally, he focused his gaze on Dantian. There is no longer a vast ocean of spiritual power, but a round gold core. The yin and yang fish pattern still appears on the gold core. Moreover, there is a dragon and a phoenix rotating around the periphery of the gold core, driving the gold core to rotate and absorbing the spiritual power from the outside world. The spiritual power cleanses the body over and over again. Is this the Dan Bao realm? Lu Yuan was satisfied with the powerful power in his body. As the saying goes, swallowing a gold core into my stomach, my fate is up to me. Not only can people in the Baodan realm be able to fly to the sky and escape from the earth, but they also have a long lifespan. You can be called an ancestor. Even if you look at the entire world, those in the Dan Bao realm can be considered strong. Open the system panel. Host. Lu Yuan. Realm. Baodan first layer. Martial arts. Ordinary level. Wind seizing footwork, and Tongbei Lingquan. Huang Jia. Dragon elephant skill. Xuanji. Spirit devouring ghost slash. Pure Yang Kung, and Blood Fiend Pill. Earth level. Basic accomplishment. Remaining lifespan. 751 years. Remaining plunder longevity. 685 years. Lifespan also increases. For the first time, Lu Yuan's own lifespan exceeded the lifespan of the plunderer. Next, we need to continue to increase our strength. Lu Yuan set his sights on several people's storage bags. There are a lot of good things in the storage bags of those people before. Terrifying visions of heaven and earth shook. Let those Baodan ancestors who practice in seclusion and do not care about worldly affairs wake up from their slumber. In the back mountain of Heihuan Peak, there is a dark cave mansion hidden. A wrinkled old woman slowly opened her eyes. Her tongue was dry and slender, like a snake searching for prey, slowly licking her face as rough as dead wood. Her eyes, which should have been dull, were shining with terrifying light at this moment, as if they could swallow all living things. A hoarse and low look came. Children, ancestor is hungry. Want to eat people. Ancestor, you have to stand up for your grandson. Wei Ziliang's voice was full of urgency and pleading. Ever since the vision of heaven and earth appeared, he had been waiting anxiously outside the cave mansion. As soon as he heard the news that his ancestor had awakened, he immediately rushed into the cave mansion. Start performing. My grandson has worked hard to find a handsome baby for you, ancestor. I wanted to dedicate it to my ancestor so that you can enjoy it. When Wei Ziliang said this, his expression became sad and angry. Who would have thought that guy was ungrateful and not only killed my men, but also insulted my ancestor in front of everyone, calling you an ugly monster. Before he finished speaking, a powerful aura suddenly came and suppressed him to the ground, unable to move. Boom, boom, boom. Immediately afterwards, heavy footsteps echoed in the cave mansion, and an old woman with a bloated body and wrinkles slowly walked out of the shadows. Her eyes revealed overwhelming murderous intent. This old woman is the ancestor of the Wei family, a strong man in the Dan Bao realm with unfathomable strength. She has been ugly since she was a child, and what she hates most is when people say she is ugly. After she advanced to the Dan Bao realm, the first thing she did was to eat everyone who insulted her. It seems that after a long time, someone forgot again. Go, bring your senior brothers, and invite that guy who doesn't know the heights of heaven and earth. This time, I want to taste it properly. The old woman's voice was hoarse and sharp, making people shudder. A sly smile flashed across Wei Ziliang's face. As you command, ancestor. Immediately, the ancestor threw out a white spiritual fruit. In the past few years, you have helped me find hundreds of high-quality cauldrons. You have done a lot of work. This is your reward. Yuanling fruit. Wei Ziliang took the spiritual fruit and kowtowed with excitement. This Yuanling fruit is the most precious treasure of cultivation and can greatly improve your cultivation. Even monks in the Baodan realm can get huge benefits from taking it. The small courtyard behind the mountain. Lu Yuan stood in the morning light, his eyes as bright as a torch, examining his body. In just 5 days, even more exciting than the previous life of more than 20 years. From the life and death crisis when we first transmigrated, to now we are standing at the inner gate. The cultivation base has also continuously broken through from the third layer of body tempering to the realm of holding pills. Now I have completely established a foothold in this world. But still can't slack off. He knows that the world is more dangerous than it seems. Moreover, Lu Yuan already likes the pleasure of becoming stronger. Because as long as you are strong enough, you can control everything, even the fate of others. This kind of power makes people want to stop. Lu Yuan looked at the system panel. Remaining plunder longevity. 685 years. The remaining plundered longevity is not small. However, there are still many new martial arts waiting for Lu Yuan to practice. After thinking for a while, Lu Yuan decided to practice the highest level heaven-defying broken blade first. This is the most powerful and potential martial art in Lu Yuan. You start to practice heaven-defying broken blade again. Although this special martial art was created by you, it is very difficult to practice and you feel very headache. In the first year, with your powerful cultivation in the pill-holding realm, you can finally show the true power of the heaven-defying broken blade. Now you have almost endless spiritual power, and there is no need to save spiritual power to release the heaven-defying broken blade. As you continue to practice, you will become more and more proficient in controlling this martial art. In the 95th year, with your unremitting efforts, you finally cultivated the heaven-defying broken blade to the realm of great accomplishment. With a wave of his hand, he can condense hundreds of broken bloodthirsty blades, like a bloodthirsty sword fairy. Lu Yuan paused the simulation. He discovered a problem. The spiritual energy consumed in the Baodan realm was very large. If you want to improve your realm, you will consume a huge amount of spiritual stones. Low-grade spirit stones have no effect on Lu Yuan now. Thousands of low-grade spirit stones only lasted for a moment due to the accelerated consumption of the system. No wonder those ancestors holding pills couldn't escape from the world and huddled in the spirit gathering array to practice. It turned out to be to reduce consumption. Due to limited conditions, Lu Yuan could only practice by taking drugs. Although most of the elixirs exchanged before to assist cultivation were of the third level. However, the effect is still much better than low-grade spirit stone. You are already a monk in the Danbao realm, but you still have to take a large amount of third-level spirit gathering pills during cultivation. It is really a shame to bow down. You feel a little ashamed. With the blessing of the elixir, the cultivation speed increases by 5%. In the 250th year, finally, after consuming all the elixirs, you successfully broke through to the second layer of Baodan. And you also have some new understanding of the heaven-defying broken blade. In the 333rd year, you succeeded. The heaven-defying broken blade was finally cultivated to perfection by you. Blood shadow rushes, blade intent volleys. Consumption of plundered longevity, 333 years. Basic accomplishment, right pointing arrow perfect. Cultivation. Baodan first layer right pointing arrow third layer. Lu Yuan opened his eyes. There seemed to be countless tiny red light spots in the pupils. If you get close enough, you can see that those are not light spots, but broken bloody blades. Although these bloody blades look very broken, but the smell above was very terrifying. At this time, the broken blade that defied the heavens can truly be called the word defying the heavens. The state of perfection is not the end of the world. But Lu Yuan doesn't have much plundering life left. At present, it is already very difficult for him to control thousands of heaven-defying remnant blades. Continuing to improve will only put more pressure on Lu Yuan. It does more harm than good. It is better to practice some other martial arts to improve one's combat power in all aspects. Lu Yuan focused on the dozen martial arts books in front of him. Xuanji Footwork, Glimpse, Xuanji Body Refining Martial Arts, Golden Light Body Protection Book. These two schools are the highest among all martial arts, and they are also what Lu Yuan needs the most. Lu Yuan first injected Shou Yuan into LV Ying. You have started to practice footwork after a long absence. Compared to practicing the heaven-defying broken blade, this is simply a vacation. Although your talent is very rubbish, it has been accumulated for such a long time. You have a profound understanding of martial Tao, and you are very handy when practicing martial arts. In the second year, you successfully learned the glimpse footwork. Although this speed is not very fast, you are already very satisfied. In the 9th year, when you move, your body looks like a ghost, with many afterimages, and your footwork has entered the realm of basic accomplishment. In the 18th year, when you perform your footwork, it will be silent, and even if you are standing behind someone, you will be unable to detect it. A glimpse into the realm of great accomplishment. In the 30th year, your figure is as light as the wind, unpredictable, and you are like a fleeting shadow when you move. Glimpse into the realm of perfection. Consumption of plundered longevity, 30 years. Glimpse not yet started, right pointing arrow perfect. Lu Yuan opened his eyes and performed some glancing footwork in the room. I just feel that my whole body is extremely light, as if every step I take is stepping on the clouds. Come and go like the wind, without a trace. It is worthy of being a zone-level body technique. Really powerful. The things you get in exchange for your body are indeed good things. Lu Yuan then continued to practice physical training martial arts. Physical training martial arts is simple and crude. You only need to keep exercising your body and integrate the golden light into your body. You don't need to use your brain to think. You will feel extremely relaxed. In the 3rd year, you successfully started. Consumption of plundered longevity, 50 years. Golden light body protection book, not beginner, right pointing arrow perfect. Remaining plunder of longevity, 192 years. Lu Yuan's body has undergone tremendous changes, and every inch of his muscles has become stronger and stronger. A faint golden light shines from his body. Looking from a distance, his whole body seems to be surrounded by a layer of sacred golden light, like an enlightened monk. The skin is as tender and smooth as a baby's. In fact, it is extremely tough. If it is slashed with an ordinary sword, it will be shattered in an instant. The strength has also increased several times. He tapped his palms lightly, and a dull sonic boom sounded. At this time, if Lu Yuan faced a monk from the 9th layer of the Guiyuan realm, he would probably be seriously injured or even die directly with just one palm. His cultivation not only broke through to the 3rd layer of Baodin. He has also mastered 5 Zon-level martial arts and 1 Earth-level martial arts. And each of them has been cultivated to perfection. Even those Baodin monks who have been practicing in seclusion for hundreds of years. It is also impossible to practice so many high-level martial arts to a perfect state like Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan was immersed in his own power. Suddenly, his perception captured several powerful auras from the outside approaching quickly. Immediately afterwards, a loud noise shook the entire courtyard. Boom! As if the sky was trembling, the gate of the courtyard instantly turned into fragments and scattered in all directions under the influence of an invisible force. A figure rushed into the courtyard like a storm, and a powerful aura swept around like a substance. The unquestionable order echoed in the courtyard. Lu Yuan, ancestor of the Wei family, invites you. The terrifying aura violently tore off the roof of the room. Debris flew everywhere and dust flew. In the courtyard, 10 powerful auras were like 10 sharp blades. All are Guiyuan realm strengths. 4 late stages of Guiyuan realm. A peek at the Guiyuan realm. Even the cardinals are feeling pressure like never before. But Lu Yuan's expression was calm, as if everything that happened in front of him had nothing to do with him. Wei Ziliang walked out from the crowd with a bit of arrogance, his eyes locked on Lu Yuan. Are you Lu Yuan? He sneered. My ancestor is hungry and wants to eat you alive. As his words fell, the others burst into cruel laughter. Lu Yuan is my friend. Honk looked solemn and stood in front of Lu Yuan. People from the Wei family had better stay away from him. Wei Ziliang sneered. Red Bird, don't be so shameless, or I won't be able to spare you today. Honk was not afraid and responded provocatively. If you have the ability, then do it. Do you think I am really afraid of you? It's true that you have an old lady who is in the Danbao realm. We can't kill you, but it's okay to beat you up and play with you, fool. Wei Ziliang's expression was cold. They are not afraid of Cardinal's identity. After all, there is also a backstage in the Danbao realm behind them. Lu Yuan, aren't you very arrogant? Don't stand behind women if you have the ability, stand up like a man. Wei Ziliang's expression was a bit disdainful. Honk grabbed Lu Yuan's clothes tightly. No, don't fall for their aggressive tactics. They want you to serve the ancestor of the Wei family. The ancestor of the Wei family practiced an evil martial arts. She has killed countless people in order to practice this martial arts. I'll stop them later and you can take the opportunity to escape. I don't know if it's because of the evil martial arts practiced by the Wei family, or because of their inferior strength. Cardinal was clearly nervous. Her body was even trembling slightly. But even so, she still stood in front of Lu Yuan and threatened to stop him. Lu Yuan didn't expect that Honk actually had this side. He chuckled lightly, I'll do it. After that, he walked to the opposite side alone. Several people on the opposite side were also stunned. What's going on? Why didn't he run away and even send it over on his own initiative? Are all young people today so brave? Wei Ziliang pulled out his long knife. Take him down and take him. But before he finished speaking, Lu Yuan disappeared from the spot. As if teleporting, he appeared next to Wei Ziliang. Lu Yuan stretched out his palm. Snapped. With a slap, Wei Ziliang was directly interrupted. Blood and intestines flowed all over the floor. Wei Ziliang's face instantly turned pale, and his ear-piercing wail spread throughout the back mountain. Everyone present was stunned. Cardinal blinked his eyes, unable to believe what was happening in front of him. Lu Yuan actually slapped Wei Ziliang, who was in the late Guiyuan realm, into 2 pieces. What kind of strength can this be done? Cardinal couldn't help but start to compare. If it were her mother, could she do such a thing? In any case, the strength displayed by Lu Yuan's attack has far exceeded the limit of Guiyuan realm. Baodin realm. Only the Danbao realm has such power. Several other disciples of the Wei family were even more confused. Their backs were instantly soaked with sweat. He kept calling Wei Ziliang a fool in his mind. He actually led them to capture a strong man in the Danbao realm. Aren't you looking for death? These people's legs weakened and they were ready to kneel down and beg for mercy. But just when they want their knees to bend, Lu Yuan disappeared again. Then 9 afterimages appeared, and each of the Wei family disciples present had an afterimage in front of them. What's strange is that the postures of these 9 afterimages are exactly the same. Lu Yuan's shadow held his left hand on his back, and his right hand was thrust towards the head of the person in front of him. By the time everyone saw clearly, Lu Yuan had returned to his original position. The next moment, the heads of 9 people exploded one after another. Then, 9 headless corpses knelt down on their knees. Blood mixed with white sticky substance spread all over the courtyard. Quiet. The whole world went completely silent. Even the chirping of insects and birds around them were so frightened by the bloody killing that they fell silent. In the distance, the disciples who gathered to watch the battle held their breath and concentrated, not daring to make any sound. The timid ones even crouched on the ground, not daring to raise their heads and look directly at the bloody scene. In front of the powerful people in Baodin realm, they are like ants and have no right to speak. Wei Ziliang's wailing sound gradually became deeper and deeper until it disappeared completely. The pain seemed to have been replaced by fear. Lu Yuan's eyes were like cold blades, falling straight on him. You told Zhang Mushui that there are treasures in the forbidden area of Skull Mountain that can improve your qualifications. A calm voice, but with unquestionable majesty. Hear these words. Wei Ziliang's mind was buzzing as if he had been hit by a heavy hammer. The root of all this was that incident. He endured the severe pain and replied eagerly, yes, senior. But that's what my elder brother Wei Ming said. He once pursued Zhang Mushui to no avail and was humiliated. Therefore, he felt resentful and designed this revenge. Where is Wei Ming now? Lu Yuan's voice was cold and chilling. Wei Ziliang shook his head in panic, his voice trembling. He went out for training, and I really don't know his specific whereabouts. I'm just the messenger, I really don't know anything else. Before he finished speaking, he began to beg for his life. However, his words were interrupted by an invisible force. Boom! His head seemed to have been hit by a giant hammer, and his flesh and blood were bloody. The breath of life disappeared instantly. Congratulations to the host, for killing Heihuan Peak Disciple, Wei Ziliang, cultivation level, Guiyuan 9th layer peak. Total lifespan, 320 years. Remaining lifespan, 284 years. Congratulations to the host, the kill. 10 kill prompts flashed in front of his eyes. Lu Yuan's plunder of Shouyuan broke through for the first time in 1,000 years. The remaining plunder of longevity, 1,801 years. Congratulations to the host, the remaining plundered longevity has exceeded 1,000 years, and the fusion martial arts function has been activated. Lu Yuan stood in a pool of blood. New system functions will be studied later. Now, the top priority is to quickly deal with the Wei family ancestor and prevent future troubles. Otherwise, if the other party escapes and is hiding somewhere, give him a fatal blow at the critical moment. That would be a big loss. As for Wei Ming, wait until the ancestor of the Wei family dies before pursuing him again. By then, the turmoil will be completely over. Shoo shoo shoo. With a wave of his hand, Lu Yuan pocketed the Wei family disciples' storage bags one by one. He glanced quickly, although there were no martial arts secrets in it that made him excited. But in Wei Ziliang's storage bag, a white spiritual fruit exuding rich spiritual energy attracted his attention. This spiritual fruit contains very rich spiritual energy. Yuanling fruit. Lu Yuan was delighted. This spiritual fruit was an accelerator for his cultivation and could greatly increase his cultivation speed. This man is so kind. If he doesn't eat any good things, he just puts them in his storage bag. The red bird on the side looked at Lu Yuan with a somewhat uneasy look. This man who stayed in her courtyard for 3 days turned out to be a senior in the Danbao realm. Senior Lu, are you going to look for the ancestor of the Wei family next? Hong Kei was a little worried. In just 3 days, she changed her name to Lu Yuan 3 times. From younger brother, senior. Cardinal was deeply shocked every time. Lu Yuan smiled and nodded. This girl named Honk is pretty good. Especially just now, even though he knew there was danger, he still had to help him escape. In this 9 Shadow Demon sect, this is already very valuable. Honk was a little worried. The ancestor of the Wei family is a strong man who has been in Baodin realm for many years, and his strength is very powerful. Especially since she acquired a very strange martial art a few decades ago, her strength has greatly increased, and now she is about to enter the late stage of holding pills. Even my mother is far from his opponent. Lu Yuan nodded. Special martial arts, very good. Now there is another reason to kill her. Thank you, but I have a reason to go. You should leave here first, otherwise I'm afraid there will be big trouble. After saying that, Lu Yuan set off and walked behind Heihuan Peak. The cave mansion of the ancestor of the Wei family is in that direction. Honk looked at Lu Yuan, who didn't hesitate, stamped his feet fiercely, and then followed Lu Yuan's footsteps. I know where the cave mansion of the ancestor of the Wei family is, and I will help you lead the way. Under the guidance of Honk, Lu Yuan saved a long time. The two of them arrived at the cave mansion of the ancestor of the Wei family smoothly. This is a deep small valley behind Heihuan Peak. The trees are densely packed, blocking out the sky and the sun. The sun shines through the gaps in the leaves and reflects on the ground, leaving mottled light and shadow. Soon, a cave mansion full of traces of time appeared in their sight. The white bones scattered around are heart-wrenching. Cardinal looked a little nervous. Lu Yuan's expression remained unchanged, and with a gentle wave of his hand, he pushed open the huge stone door outside cave mansion. A biting cold air hit his face, and the red bird shuddered violently. How do you feel? The residence of the ancestor of the Wei family is so eerie and terrifying. This doesn't look like a place where people live. Her voice trembled slightly. Lu Yuan seemed not to notice it. The cave mansion is empty and quiet, without any trace of life. Only the footsteps of the two people echoed in the empty cave mansion. Da. This atmosphere made Honk even more nervous, and she grabbed Lu Yuan's sleeves tightly. As they went deeper, the two came to the deepest part of the cave mansion, and a closed red wooden door came into view. Far away, Lu Yuan could feel the smell of decay and death. But he still opened the door without hesitation. Afterwards, the two of them seemed to have arrived in the underworld. The sight in front of her almost suffocated the red bird. The ground was scattered with white bones, and sticky blood was slowly flowing. In the center of this horrific scene is a bed made of human bones. A skinny man was thrown on top, and a lump of fat wrapped in clothes was lying on the man's body, gnawing crazily. Like a hungry crocodile struggling to bite its prey. Very crazy and bloody. Suddenly, that lump of fat raised its head, revealing a pair of ferocious beast-like pupils. Ah! Cardinal's breathing stopped for a moment. She has always been under her mother's wing, although she is very keen on men and women. But I have never fought with anyone, let alone seen such a bloody scene. Lu Yuan also felt a bit chilly. People eat people. No, this is no longer a human being. This is a man-eating monster. The ancestor of the Wei family turned his eyes to Lu Yuan, a greedy light flashing in his eyes. Well, Lianzhi really didn't lie to me and actually brought me such a beauty. As he spoke, the ancestor of the Wei family stretched out his dry tongue and slowly licked the air. But the next moment, her face suddenly turned cold. The ancestor of the Wei family smelled the blood of his descendants on Lu Yuan. Boom! The cold and biting murderous intent swept through the entire cave mansion like a blizzard. Under the pressure of Baodin's sixth layer's aura, the red bird flew out directly. He hit the wall hard and fainted. Where are my children and grandchildren? Waiting for your reunion in the underworld. Lu Yuan didn't even look at the ancestor of the Wei family. He held the sword finger in his right hand and gently patted the storage bag engraved with snowflake marks on his waist. A sword talisman appeared on his fingertips. The long sword pattern and fine runes on the sword talisman shone with a cold light. A cold light flashed in Lu Yuan's eyes, and his sword finger suddenly swung out. The sword talisman burned under the stimulation of spiritual power and turned into a cold sword energy. Howl! There seemed to be an ice phoenix that came from ancient times and let out a long roar. The entire cave mansion instantly turned into a land of ice. Ice blue spiritual power shot out from the sword talisman and rushed into the body of the ancestor of the Wei family, directly poking a huge hole in his heart. The cultivation level of Baodin's sixth layer. Under Zhang Mushui's sword talisman, there was no room for resistance. He was instantly killed with one blow. Even the caster Lu Yuan was a little surprised, not expecting the strength of his cheap sister. It's so scary. He is worthy of being a rare genius from the Nine Shadow Demon sect. Congratulations to the host, for killing the ancestor of the Wei family, cultivation level, Baodin sixth layer. Total lifespan, 800 years. Remaining lifespan, 300 and 500 years. Successfully plundered Shouyuan, 300 and 500 years. Although he had plundered 300 years of longevity, Lu Yuan's thoughts were all on the storage bag of the ancestor of the Wei family. He even wanted to know what kind of evil martial arts the ancestor of the Wei family practiced. It was necessary to kill so many people. Human slaughter Yama demon body. Lu Yuan took a breath of cold air. This ancestor of the Wei family actually possesses an earth-level martial arts. And it's also body training martial arts. No wonder this old guy has been in seclusion for so many years, originally to practice this high-level martial arts. If the other party really succeeds, today's matter may be troublesome. In addition to the special martial arts, there are more than a dozen Yuanling fruits. And more than 50,000 middle-grade spiritual stones. There are also a large number of elixirs and various spiritual objects. Lu Yuan went straight through the entire cave mansion and gained a lot from this trip. After making sure nothing is missed, Lu Yuan took the unconscious Honk back to her courtyard. That young man just now was actually a senior in the Danbao realm. He looks too young. It is said that some seniors with strong talents can break through to the realm of Baodin at a very young age and achieve the effect of permanent beauty. Perhaps this senior is extremely talented. People around are still talking about what just happened, and the sudden appearance of masters in the Danbao realm. But what they didn't know was that the senior they said was extremely talented had quietly returned. After Lu Yuan put Honk on the bed, he opened the system panel and began to study new functions. Fusion of martial arts. At the cost of 1,000 years of life, up to 5 martial arts of the same type can be fused with each other to form a new martial arts. The martial arts used in fusion must be practiced at least to a perfect state. A fusion of 5 martial arts books of the same type. It consumes 1,000 years of life. Lu Yuan thought briefly. When he fused the bloodthirsty demon sword and the blood shadow demon sword, he spent hundreds of years of life. And this is under the premise that the two martial arts have many similarities. Nowadays, the system can integrate martial arts in the simplest and most direct way. It just consumes a little more. However, if you can really integrate powerful martial arts, it won't be a loss. After thinking for a while, Lu Yuan decided to start integrating martial arts. Host: Lu Yuan. Realm: Baodin 3rd layer. Martial arts. Ordinary level: Wind seizing footwork, Tongbei Lingquan. Huang Jia, Dragon Elephant skill. Zan Jia, Spirit devouring ghost slash, Pure Yang Kung, Blood fiend pill, Glimpse, Golden light body protection book. Earth level: The broken blade against heaven. Remaining lifespan: 751 years. Remaining plundered longevity: 2101 years. Look at the system panel. Lu Yuan decided to integrate body training martial arts first. After swallowing a yuanling fruit, Lu Yuan injected shouyuan into his body and simulated practicing the earth-level body refining martial arts, human slaughter Yama demon body. You start to practice your best martial arts, because the martial arts is simple and rough, it is very easy to practice, and it only takes a long time to learn it. In the 50th year, human slaughter Yama demonic body has finally reached the basic accomplishment state. You have terrifying magic patterns attached to your body, and you don't look like a good person. Your realm has broken through to Baodin 4th layer. In the 197th year, blood and flames merged to outline mysterious runes on your body, and your body was strengthened like never before. Consumption and plundering longevity: 197 years. Human slaughter Yama demonic body, not yet started, right pointing arrow perfection. Lu Yuan opened his eyes and exhaled a mouthful of hot gas. Run the demon body of human slayer. A faint flame pattern circulates throughout the body, outlining a mysterious demonic pattern. Ferocious and terrifying. Physical strength amplification increased dozens of times. It is indeed an earth-level martial arts. You know, Lu Yuan has practiced 2 physical training martial arts, and his physical strength is very high. But even so, after cultivating the human-slaying devil body, there is still such a huge increase. The flame patterns attached to the body are not conspicuous, but the addition to the body is very terrifying. Really powerful. After getting used to this new body for a while, Lu Yuan continued to simulate new martial arts. In the storage bag obtained previously, there are also 2 Huang Jia physical training martial arts books. Consumption of plundered longevity: 32 years. Golden bell not yet started, right pointing arrow perfect. Consumption of plundered longevity: 41 years. Golden lion body not yet started, right pointing arrow perfect. After possessing the human slaying demon body, these 2 yellow level body refining martial arts had little effect on Lu Yuan. Almost negligible. However, Lu Yuan originally did not expect these 2 Wangji martial arts books to be very powerful. Just to make up the numbers: Dragon and Elephant body, Golden lion body, Golden bell, Golden light body protection book, and Human slaughter Yama body. 5 parts of physical training martial arts. All have cultivated to the state of perfection. Merge, lost, Dragon elephant body, Golden lion body, Golden bell, Golden light body protection book, Human slaying Yama body. Obtain, heavenly level magic dragon body shield enhanced. Enhanced. It means that this martial art is the most powerful among its peers. It turned out to be a heaven-level martial arts. Lu Yuan's eyes widened. Unexpectedly, his first heaven-level martial arts was actually the body-refining martial arts. Moreover, it is still the most powerful among the heavenly martial arts. Possess this powerful heaven-level martial arts. Lu Yuan can definitely challenge the masters of the primordial spirit realm over the next level. Inject a large amount of longevity energy into the magic dragon body shield and start simulated training. 730 years of plundering life force were consumed like running water, and the cultivation resources obtained from the ancestors of the Wei family were also consumed. But it was all worth it, and Lu Yuan's combat effectiveness reached an unprecedented height. Not only has he cultivated the demonic dragon body shield to perfection, at the same time, his cultivation level also reached the peak of 9th layer. Lu Yuan's combat effectiveness is actually much stronger than what he looks like on paper. With the blessing of the heaven-defying broken blade and the demonic dragon bodyguard, In the 9 Shadow Demon sect there is simply no rival. Even the 9 peak masters of the primordial spirit realm and the so-called supreme elders took action personally. He is not afraid either. At this moment, suddenly, there was a sound of breaking through the sky above Heihuan Peak. Several streams of light pierced the sky and finally landed in the main hall on the top of the mountain. The remaining 3 elders of Heihuan Peak arrived together. These 6 Heihuan Peak elders had already woken up one after another during the previous vision of heaven and earth. The terrifying vision of heaven and earth shocked even these people living in their hometown. Before they could figure out the specific situation, they learned that an inner sect elder from Heihuan Peak had been brutally murdered. And, right in your own cave mansion. The most important thing is that the murderer turned out to be Lu Yuan. In the reports from their subordinates, they had learned about Lu Yuan's recent shocking rise. Lu Yuan first killed the outer disciple who had bullied him in the outer sect. Then he killed the outer steward who had an interest dispute and the leader of the law enforcement hall. At this time, some elders from the inner sect had already learned about this. But they didn't care. After all, they were only in the early stage of pulse condensation. To these inner sect elders, there is no difference from ordinary people. However, he didn't expect that Lu Yuan would fight all the way to the inner gate. Not only did he kill many Heihuan Peak disciples, finally, he took action again and directly killed an elder of Baodin realm. The entire 9 Shadow Demon sect shakes. More and more powerful people came to Heihuan Peak. Now, 9 Shadow Demon sect 3 peak masters and a large number of inner sect elders gathered here. Although this is only part of the high-end power of the 9 Shadow Demon sect, their arrival is enough to illustrate the seriousness of the problem. The master of Heihuan Peak is a plump and beautiful young woman. Although the appearance is not absolutely beautiful, it is very attractive. Coupled with the round and plump figure and the twisting waist, any man will fall in love with her and become her slave. The elders present immediately lowered their heads, concentrated their minds, and silently recited the mantra for clearing the heart. Sean Menglen's voice is cold and full of majesty. Why did one of my elder soul lamps at Heihuan Peak go out? Who can tell me what happened? An elder from Heihuan Peak stood up and reported to the Peak Master. Peak Master, what happened is this? With his words, the entire top management of the 9 Shadow Demon sect was deeply shocked by Lu Yuan's behavior. In fact, the name, Lu Yuan, has not appeared in their ears for a long time. In the past, only that girl Zhang Mushui often mentioned him. For Lu Yuan's sake, Zhang Mushui defrauded many of their elders' elixirs to improve their qualifications. Therefore, although Lu Yuan has mediocre qualifications and low cultivation, he seems not to be interested in cultivation. But his name was known to the elders because of Zhang Mushui's persistence. But who would have thought? Half a year after Zhang Mushui's death, he had undergone such a huge change. This left many elders in disbelief. They talked a lot and couldn't believe that a former waste could reach such a height in such a short period of time. How can this be? From tempering the 3rd layer to killing the monk holding the pill. The difference between the two can't be exaggerated by the difference between clouds and mud. An elder looked gloomy and said sternly, no matter what, this person killed many of my disciples with outstanding potential in Heihuan Peak. He also killed me, the elder of Heihuan Peak. I must wash away the shame of Heihuan Peak. Otherwise, where is the majesty of Heihuan Peak? The master of Heihuan Peak stood up slowly. Her face was as gloomy as water, and her eyes flashed with cold light. Elders of Heihuan Peak, Lu Yuan insulted my mountain sect and killed my disciples. Follow me to capture this thief and rectify the name of Heihuan Peak. Boom. Following the command of Sean Menglen, the master of Heihuan Peak, the aura unique to the primordial spirit realm was released. The inner sect elders present all felt difficulty breathing. Primordial spirit realm. For Baodin realm, this is a height that cannot be looked up to. Yes, Peak Master, we will definitely capture this thief and wash away the shame of our Heihuan Peak. The elders agreed in unison. The elders from other peaks all looked at each other, secretly surprised. Who would have thought that in order to capture a former waste, all the elders of Heihuan Peak, and even the leader of Heihuan Peak, would be mobilized personally? This is enough to show how strong Lu Yuan is. Buzz. The silver light flashed in the peach blossom eyes of the Lord of Heihuan Peak, as if 2 invisible sharp swords shot out from her eyes. In just an instant, this force swept across the entire Heihuan Peak and locked on Lu Yuan in their mouth. A majestic voice sounded. "I see you." The Lord of Heihuan Peak penetrated the void and saw a handsome young man sitting in the courtyard. She slowly raised her jade feet. Sean Menglen's figure disappeared into the hall like a phantom, and when she reappeared, she was hundreds of meters away. Her steps were like teleporting. Each step crossed the boundaries of space and moved hundreds of meters. In a few breaths, Sean Menglen was already standing on top of Lu Yuan's head. The elders followed closely behind. Although their speed is not as fast as the Peak Master, each step is enough to make their figures reappear dozens of meters away. Dozens of elders with powerful auras gathered in the sky above the small courtyard, like a dark cloud pressing down on the young people in the courtyard. Lu Yuan once again became the target of public criticism. But he was still very calm, sitting quietly in the courtyard, as if all this had nothing to do with him. How brave! An elder from Heihuan Peak looked cold and slowly pressed down his palms. He condensed a huge spiritual palm, and with the power to destroy everything, he slapped Lu Yuan hard. It seemed like he was going to be beaten into a pulp. Lu Yuan stroked his long sleeve and slowly placed the teacup on the table. Then he waved his hand gently. Hundreds of broken blades appeared out of thin air. He waved his sword lightly, and these blades were like arrows from the string, shooting towards the huge spiritual palm. Swish, swish, swish. The blade penetrated through, leaving countless craters. The spiritual palm instantly shattered and turned into light spots that dissipated in the air. Hundreds of broken bloody blades had surrounded the white-haired elder. It seems that as long as he dares to do anything rashly, he would prick it full of holes without hesitation. The white-haired elder swallowed hard and wiped the non-existent sweat on his forehead. He never expected that Lu Yuan could have such thunderous methods. One move broke his golden Buddha palm. He also besieged himself. The other elders also looked solemn. The Lord of Heihuan Peak narrowed his eyes slightly. She signaled the remaining two elders to take action. They are good at the art of combined attack and have a tacit understanding. Even when facing the powerful primordial spirit, they can delay for a moment. The spiritual power is raging and the wind is surging. The two of them were in tandem. It released violent and brilliant spiritual power, as if it covered the heaven and the earth. The terrifying sword light slashed out. Under the illusion spell, the number of slashes increased hundreds of times. True and false, full of phantoms. It seems endless. This move is indeed very difficult for most monks in the Danbao realm. But Lu Yuan ignored the flashes of swords and resisted with his body. Everyone's mouths opened wide. Is this Lu Yuan practicing some powerful body refining martial arts? Even if you practice earth-level body refining martial arts, you can't withstand so many swords and swords. Could he be gambling? Bet, these sword lights are illusory. Just when the elders were shocked and confused, the endless sword light had already struck the young man's body. Chang, chang. The body and the slash collided, and the sound of gold and steel colliding was heard, and sparks flew everywhere. All the sword strikes were shattered. Then, the first layer was as heavy as the ocean waves, and all of them were shattered by the successive sword slashes. After breaking out of the illusion formation, Lu Yuan held the sword talisman. With a wave of his hand, the icy sword energy shot straight into the sky, penetrated the arm of the elder who released the phantom formation, and exploded his right arm into pieces. Ah! Lu Yuan himself carried the power of 10 dragons and 10 elephants, and violently rushed towards another elder holding a long knife. What a courage! The leader of Heihuan Peak gave a sweet shout and suddenly appeared in front of Lu Yuan dressed in white. In the center of the palm, a thorn of black ice condensed. Stop! But at this moment, a cold voice penetrated the void and swept in, carrying infinite power. Hear this voice. The expressions of the elders present and even the Peak Masters changed and they all retreated. Immediately afterwards, a beautiful figure flashed in the distance and appeared in front of everyone in an instant. She was wearing a black robe, and under the black gauze, her straight white thighs were looming, as if they were shining. Although there is a black gauze covering the face, the eyes just exposed make people's hearts beat. The aura she displayed was noble and cold, like a banished immortal descending to earth, making people dare not look directly at her. Beautiful, yet unattainable, the most powerful woman in the 9 Shadow Demon sect. She is the heroine of the 9 Shadow Demon sect. He is also Zhang Mushui's master. I've seen the queen. Sheng Wanqing did not release any coercion or martial arts, and her appearance shocked everyone. The elders and peak masters of the 9 Shadow Demon sect all bent down and handed over their hands. Salute respectfully. Sheng Wanqing said nothing. They didn't dare to get up, and all of them kept their salutes honestly. Sheng Wanqing's indifferent gaze swept over everyone, as if nothing in the world could enter her eyes. Only when looking at Lu Yuan, these indifferent eyes flashed with a trace of fluctuation. Lu Yuan, come with me. The heroine's voice was unexpectedly gentle. My lady, no. The peak master of Heihuan Peak gritted his teeth and stopped in front of Sheng Wanqing. But Sheng Wanqing just looked at her indifferently and said calmly, are you sure you want to stop in front of me? The master of Heihuan Peak took a deep breath, withstood the pressure of the female monarch, and said with difficulty, Master Female, Lu Yuan killed several of my disciples of Heihuan Peak. There are also elders from the Danbao realm. We at Heihuan Peak must seek an explanation for what happened today, otherwise how can we gain a foothold in the 9 Shadow Demon sect? If the lady insists on protecting this person, then I can only ask the Supreme Elder. The leader of Heihuan Peak is very impressive. Everything she said was very reasonable and irrefutable. In the end, they even moved out the Supreme Elder who had been in seclusion for many years in an attempt to frighten Sheng Wanqing. But Sheng Wanqing just chuckled. 9 Shadow Demon sect, respect the strong. What will happen if your talented disciple dies at Heihuan Peak? What will happen if you, the elder of Baodan realm, die at Heihuan Peak? To die is to die. And the strong don't need to be punished. Sheng Wanqing's voice was very soft, but every word in his words was unparalleled in dominance. Yes, respect the strong. This is the only law of the 9 Shadow Demon sect, and it is also the reason why powerless people like them want to join the 9 Shadow Demon sect. A disciple who dares to join the 9 Shadow Demon sect in such chaos. Which one is not an arrogant person? They have no power and only average talents. In order to have the opportunity to become stronger, they can completely ignore their own lives. But if the disciples and elders who control the resources are protected by the strong, how should they fight for things that don't belong to them? Sheng Wanqing's words were talking about the 9 Shadow Demon sect in their minds. The surrounding disciples and elders looked at Sheng Wanqing with eyes filled with enthusiasm and admiration. This is what we have been taught since joining the 9 Shadow Demon sect. The strong are respected. Yes, in the 9 Shadow Demon sect, it should be the fairest. Let your fists speak. They are already dead, so they are the weak. The weak do not deserve mercy. My lady. The veins on Heihuan Peak's forehead popped out. But she could only hold back her anger, lowered her voice, and said through gritted teeth, since you said that the strong are respected, then don't stop in front of Lu Yuan. If he can defeat me, I will naturally not mention this matter again. As soon as he finished speaking, the master of Heihuan Peak once again condensed the black ice thorn with a fierce momentum, preparing to bypass Sheng Wanqing and attack Lu Yuan directly. Presumptuous. Sheng Wanqing's face showed coldness for the first time. She gently raised her arm and tapped her white jade-like fingers in the air. The black ice thorn in Shan Menglan's hand immediately shattered. Her whole body flew out like a kite with its string broken, and hit the Heihuan Peak. The same primordial spirit realm powerhouse. Shan Menglan is like a plaything in the hands of the Empress. The other inner sect elders lowered their heads one after another, looking at their noses and hearts, and their mouths were tightly closed. They are only in the alchemy realm and cannot afford to interfere in the battle between the primordial spirit realm. What's more, this is the heroine of the 9 Shadow Demon sect. Several elders from Heihuan Peak were anxious. The female queen actually took action directly. What should we do now? Should we take action? Are you crazy or am I crazy for attacking the female queen? It's better to wait for the Supreme Elder. I hope he will come soon and seek justice for me at Heihuan Peak. That's all. At this moment, a slightly hoarse old voice came. Master Nephew, you are still so domineering. Although no one has been seen yet, the elders and peak masters all bowed their hands to the distance in tacit understanding. I've met the Supreme Elder. Then, a thin old man wearing linen clothes and white beard appeared in the distance. Then his figure disappeared and appeared one after another. Whenever his figure appears again, the distance between him and everyone will be shortened by several kilometers. In just a blink of an eye, he was in front of everyone. No gifts. Shang Wuyuan nodded slightly to everyone. Everyone in Heihuan Peak breathed a sigh of relief when they saw his appearance. The leader of Heihuan Peak, who had just crawled out of the ruins, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and stood obediently behind Shang Wuyuan. The appearance of the Supreme Elder seemed to give her enough confidence to dare to look directly at Shang Wancheng. Because Shang Wuyuan was originally her master. Shang Wuyuan focused his eyes on Shang Wancheng. Master Nephew, I probably already know about this matter. Since the fault is not his, what can I do if he goes to my law enforcement hall? However, Shang Wancheng did not retreat but moved forward. She took a step forward and blocked Lu Yuan and the others with a firm voice. I have said it before, if it doesn't work, it just won't work. Don't say it's you, even if the head brother comes, it's useless. Everyone was stunned for a moment. No one would have thought that Shang Wancheng could be so powerful that she would not even give him the respect of the Supreme Elder. Shang Wuyuan assumed the posture of a master uncle and said, Master Nephew, don't be so impulsive. There may be a big problem with Lu Yuan. I have already sensed a lot of messy vibes from him. It's very possible that he has practiced magic skills. What Shang Wuyuan said was simply a joke. This is the demon sect, and whoever practices it is not a demonic kung fu. However, if he wants to take action, he must have a reason, and this so-called magic power is his reason. The disciples below also started talking. Magic power. A magic power that can swallow flesh or soul. That's right. Lu Yuan went from the outer gate to the inner gate in a few days, and even directly killed the elders in the Danbao realm. Normally, how can a person's cultivation level grow so fast? I don't know if the magic power is real, but I know that there must be some secret in Lu Yuan. Different from the disciples who have shallow knowledge. The elders were relatively calm, and everyone just looked at each other. They all know very well that anything about magic power or not is just rhetoric. It was just that Shang Wuyuan wanted to take action and kill Lu Yuan. A famous teacher. Only by allowing yourself to stand on the moral high ground can you seize opportunities from your disciples in a fair and just way. This old thing is really disgusting. At this time, Shang Wancheng shook her head and chuckled, magic power. Uncle Master, have you been in seclusion for too long? There is something wrong with your brain. This is the Nine Shadow Demon sect. Who doesn't practice magic? And no matter what kind of magic power it is, it cannot allow a monk with low qualifications to break through several levels in a short period of time and enter the Danbao realm. Only great opportunities can do it. Shang Wancheng's eyes flashed with cold light. After Zhang Mushui disappeared in the Forbidden Area, she had been searching in the Forbidden Area for the past 6 months, but found nothing. Then she must protect Lu Yuan for Zhang Mushui. He is the only person Zhang Mushui cares about. Today, even if she is against the entire sect, she will never take a step back. Shang Wancheng snorted coldly, I would like to ask the Supreme Elder. Today, do you want to seek justice for Heihuan Peak, or do you want to seize Lu Yuan's opportunity for your own selfish desires? Seeing Shang Wancheng looking like she was going to make things worse, Shang Wuyuan secretly cursed in his heart, but he still had a smile on his face. What are you talking about, my nephew? As an elder, how can I take away the opportunity of being a disciple of the sect? Everything we did today was for the safety of the sect. Lu Yuan is indeed very strong, but other disciples are also the hope of the sect's future, so we cannot let him kill them randomly. The death of so many disciples makes me, the Supreme Elder, very sad. Alas, besides, I do feel a dangerous aura from him. For the sake of the future of the sect, if my nephew questions, I must protect this person. I can only. Shang Wuyuan's eyes flashed with blood, and the threat was self-evident. At this time, the young man who was ignored by everyone slowly stretched out his hand and stopped Shang Wancheng, who was about to take action. The young man said calmly, What do you want? It was the first time that everyone focused on him. After all, in their eyes, Lu Yuan was just a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Now, this lamb actually came out on his own initiative. Everyone looked at the young man in white clothes, handsome and slender. The female queen looked at Lu Yuan, a little dazed. During the 6 months she had been searching for Zhang Mushui in the forbidden area of Skull Mountain, Lu Yuan seemed to have changed, a little different from the obedient guy before. The female queen said in her voice. Don't worry, no matter what happens today, I will protect you. Lu Yuan just shook his head slightly, and then looked at Shang Wuyuan. Now his strength is at the peak of Dan 9th layer. Now he is only at the peak of 9th layer. In terms of realm, he is naturally inferior to the Supreme Elder of the Primordial Spirit Realm and the Peak Master of Heihuan Peak. But Lu Yuan has the advantage of martial arts. With the blessing of heaven-level body refining martial arts, whether it is physical defense or powerful strength, they are not weaker than the powerful ones in the Primordial Spirit Realm. Originally, he was preparing to kill all the top executives of Heihuan Peak to replenish his depleted lifespan again. But I didn't expect the female monarch to suddenly appear. Lu Yuan wanted to take a look. What will Zhang Mushui's master's attitude towards her be after her death? Did not expect. After Shangguan Qing appeared, he didn't even ask himself what was going on. You must do your best to protect yourself. He even did not hesitate to make the entire sect an enemy. Lu Yuan was really moved. However, the attitude of the Supreme Elder was completely different. Although Shang Wuyuan kept saying that it was for the benefit of the sect. But Lu Yuan had long sensed murderous intent in him. He wants to kill Lu Yuan. The Lord of Heihuan Peak snorted coldly. Lu Yuan, who gave you the courage to contradict the Supreme Elder? Shang Wuyuan didn't show anything, he just looked down at Lu Yuan from a high position. Lu Yuan was disdainful. He wants to kill me. Should I just stick out my neck and let him chop me? No one thought that Lu Yuan would be so crazy. He didn't even give the Supreme Elder any face. Shang Wuyuan's face darkened. It seems that you are indeed crazy. The evil disciple Lu Yuan practiced magic and lost his mind. This is a great harm to the sect. Today, I will eliminate harm for the sect. Saying that, Shang Wuyuan directly released endless flames. Many elders around him flew backwards under the scorching heat. Only Shangguan Qing and Lu Yuan remained unmoved. Shangguan Qing also immediately released his aura to resist. Shang Wuyuan, how dare you? Shang Wuyuan still maintained his good-natured persona. My nephew, he is already so crazy, and you still want to protect him. I think what Lu Yuan said is right. Shangguan Qing's eyes exuded a chill. If you want to fight, then come. Shang Wuyuan was stunned for a moment, then said with a ferocious smile, okay, okay. Elders, the crazy Lu Yuan is endangering the sect and bewitching the female queen. Everyone, follow me and take down these two people. You deal with Lu Yuan. Leave the queen to me to deal with. Shang Wuyuan gave the order with an expressionless face. Apparently, he has lost his patience. I am here, who dares to make a mistake? At the same time, a long sword slowly appeared in the hand of the female lord. Under the jade feet, ice lotuses slowly bloomed, and the coldness in the air spread. People around him could clearly feel that their bodies were a little stiff. The female queen is also going to take action. The Supreme Elder and the Empress. Both are strong men in the primordial spirit realm, and now it's up to them to take sides. It's really a bit of a headache. In the end, under the leadership of the Lord of Heihuan Peak, more than a dozen elders surrounded Shangguan Qing and Lu Yuan. The other elders slowly backed away, not wanting to get involved. The master of Heihuan Peak looked at Lu Yuan with disdain. You are a loser who only hides behind women. I used to hide behind Zhang Mushui, but now I'm hiding behind the female lord. Lu Yuan, your relationship with women is as good as ever. Since you want to die, then come and do it. Lu Yuan's voice also revealed murderous intent. Lu Yuan, don't be impulsive. The female queen frowned slightly. Although she had seen Lu Yuan defeat the two inner sect elders before. However, now Lu Yuan is facing more than a dozen inner sect elders. Moreover, there is Shang Wuyuan, a strong man in the primordial spirit realm. Lu Yuan, let me do it, otherwise I won't be able to explain when that girl comes back. The female queen said through her voice. Is it because of Zhang Mushui? It seems that her master is really good. Lu Yuan understood. He was also a little tired of it. If these people lived for one more second, it would be a waste of life. It's time to get your longevity back as soon as possible. Thank you, lady. Lu Yuan gently cupped his hands. However, there is no need for the queen to intervene in today's matter. I can handle it. Shangguan Qing was slightly stunned. Lu Yuan has really changed. He is different from the cowardly young man who would always hide behind Zhang Mushui. Lu Yuan now looks more like a real man, waiting to settle this matter. You must ask him carefully what happened during this period. It made him change so much. Okay, the female leader nodded lightly. I'll stop Shang Wuyuan and leave the others to you. Then Yuzu lightly tapped in the air and rushed straight towards Shang Wuyuan. At the same time, more than a dozen elders, led by the master of Heihuan Peak, began to attack Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan slowly opened his palms. The heaven-defying broken blade. In an instant, thousands of broken blades condensed and shot out indiscriminately with Lu Yuan as the center. Although such scattered attacks cannot cause harm to them, but it was enough to delay it for a few seconds. Lu Yuan himself rushed straight towards the two seriously injured elders at Heihuan Peak. The first rule of siege. Grab someone and beat him to death. First cause the other party to reduce its personnel. The two elders were frightened by Lu Yuan in the previous battle. Now seeing Lu Yuan charging towards him again like a ferocious beast, his heart trembled violently. Boom, punch after punch. With the blessing of the magic dragon shield, his power is extremely terrifying. Even more powerful than the physical strength of most primordial spirit realm experts. Under such an offensive, the elder who had broken his arm was crushed to death at the moment of contact. Congratulations to the host, for killing the 9 shadow demon sect elders of the inner sect, and cultivating the 3rd layer of the elixir. Successfully plundered Shoyuan. 205 years. Everyone's eyes widened. He didn't try his best before. Before that, Lu Yuan was struggling when faced with the siege from the elders of Heihuan Peak. But now, he killed one person with such lightning speed. If they had known before, Lu Yuan had such terrifying fighting power, they will definitely not side with the Supreme Elder. The roles of hunter and prey have quietly changed. The young man in white clothes and soaked in blood stood among the crowd again. His eyes exuded bloodthirsty and ferocious light. Start looking for your second prey. Under Lu Yuan's gaze, the hearts of all the elders stopped beating. These eyes. It seemed like a hungry beast that saw delicious food. Shan Menglin, the master of Heihuan Peak, looked ferocious. Everyone, use all your strength and don't give him any more opportunities. Boom, a primordial spirit realm. 10 people in the Danbao realm. All 11 powerful men burst out with their strongest auras. For a moment, the wind and clouds surged, and the entire sky was covered by raging spiritual power, as if the end was coming. However, a snow-white sword light instantly cut through the darkness. Shua, Shua. In Lu Yuan's hand, the long and narrow Zanpakuto burst out with light. Every slash, not only the sword light shot out, there are also the indiscriminate strikes of hundreds of blades. Although these blades look extremely broken, they are very powerful. Facing such an offensive, the besieging elders went crazy. The key is, every time they resist a wave of attacks from the heaven-defying broken blades, more heaven-defying broken blades will fall from the sky. More than a dozen waves of knives rained down. Before they could touch the corners of Lu Yuan's clothes, 2 more elders died. The other elders also suffered more or less minor injuries. Even the master of Heihuan Peak had been attacked many times and his clothes were in rags. It is no longer as glamorous as before. Lu Yuan saw the right moment, swung his Zanpakuto, and swept towards his next target. Aha! Swish, swish, swish. The ultimate blade. Countless broken blades shot out. The round and fat elder was directly poked into a sieve. Like a piece of rotten tofu, it fell straight from the air to the ground. Congratulations to the host, for killing the 9 shadow demon sect inner sect elders and cultivating the 6th layer. Successfully plundered Shoyuan. 320 years. In the Dantian, most of the yin and yang's gold core spiritual power has been consumed. Lu Yuan gasped and his steps slowed down. Although the spiritual power contained in his gold core is dozens of times that of ordinary alchemy holding monks. But the endless display of the heaven-defying broken blade was a bit too much even for him. In addition, Lu Yuan faced so many powerful enemies at the same time, and every move was made with all his strength. Below that, most of the spiritual energy was quickly consumed. Lu Yuan took a breath, threw a bottle of 4th grade recovery pill into his mouth, and then quickly stepped back. See this scene. The master of Heihuan Peak's eyes flashed with evil aura. he has been using his weird martial arts one after another, and there is not much spiritual power left in his body. If we all work together, we will definitely kill him in one fell swoop. The other elders also understood this truth and worked hard, preparing to take this opportunity to defeat Lu Yuan. While Lu Yuan was retreating, he had already opened the system panel, injected Shou Yuan into the heaven-defying broken blade, and started to deduce the simulation. You want to continue to deduce more possibilities of the heaven-defying broken blade. However, your spiritual power is exhausted at this moment, and you can only restore it through practice first. A year later, your spiritual power is back to its original state. Next moment, Lu Yuan's body was filled with spiritual power again. As long as he has longevity, his spiritual power is endless. Next, there are endless broken blades that defy the sky. Wave after wave of broken blades, like a heavy rain, kept attacking the remaining elders. The heaven-defying broken blade is no ordinary weapon. Not only is it extremely fast, but it is also bloodthirsty. Once attacked, the wound will not heal easily, and blood will continue to flow. Soon, the older white-haired elder felt short of energy and blood and felt dizzy. At this moment, a flash of sword ended his life. Congratulations to the host, for killing 9 Shadow Demon Sect Inner Sect Elders, cultivating the 5th layer. Successfully plundered Shouyuan, 80 years. The Supreme Elder and the Queen had already stopped. Both of them opened their mouths in surprise at Lu Yuan's terrifying combat power. Especially Shang Wuyuan, he even questioned himself in his mind. Faced with such a horrific attack, can he survive it? The master of Heihuan Peak has long wanted to retreat, but he can't retreat. Blades were shooting out from all directions one after another. These blades are very strange. The speed is fast, and once attacked, a trace of energy and blood will be taken away. Every time he was attacked, the damage he received was not serious. But I can't handle the large number. This endless rain of knives is despairing. Several system prompts flashed again. In the rain of knives, only Shan Menglin, the master of Heihuan Peak, was left. She was covered in blood and looked like a madman. Whoosh! At this time, a long and narrow blade came through the air and stabbed directly into Shan Menglin's chest. The appearance of the young man in front of Shan Menglin became increasingly blurry. Congratulations to the host, for killing 9 Shadow Demon Sect Heihuan Peak Master Shan Menglin, cultivating Primordial Spirit 1st Layer. Total lifespan, 1800 years. Remaining lifespan, 1065 years. Successfully plundered Shouyuan, 1065 years. Breaking through the Primordial Spirit realm directly increased 1000 years of life. Lu Yuan was a little surprised. Immediately, Lu Yuan touched Shan Menglin's waist very skillfully. A light blue storage bag was put into the bag. Then, he turned around and locked his eyes on Shang Wuyuan. This is also the only opponent present. Looking at the bloody young man, the Supreme Elder immediately gave up and said, Lu Yuan, I just thought about it again carefully. I think you did the right thing. We are the 9 Shadow Demon Sect. Whoever has the bigger fist is right. Since you killed them, it is their fault. You don't need to go back to the law enforcement hall with me. This matter has been revealed. After saying that, he wanted to turn around and run away. But before he knew it, the female queen had stopped behind him. Lu Yuan shook his head. He was indeed thick-skinned at this age. Even in this situation, he still wants to escape. Lu Yuan put his Zanpakuto into his storage bag. I moved my neck a little, and there was a crackling sound. Dragon Bodyguard, Heaven-level body refining martial arts is in full operation. Lu Yuan was like a hell-blood demon, with the power of blood raging crazily. Under the boiling power of qi and blood, the muscles all over Lu Yuan's body instantly swelled, and even steamed up. A gray-white breath swept around his body, blowing the long hair flying. Seeing Lu Yuan's stronger fighting power, the Supreme Elder immediately began to beg for mercy. What the hell kind of monster is this? This thing is definitely not in the Danbao realm. Lu Yuan, I was really wrong, please spare me, please. Of course Lu Yuan would not let him go. After all, Shang Wuyuan still has a lifespan that needs to be recovered. Subsequently, the young condor was like a blood-red meteor, crashing straight into the Supreme Elder. Boom, just one punch. The Supreme Elder of Primordial Spirit Realm third layer flew backwards. He tried his best, but still couldn't block the punch. At this moment, his arms were shaking violently, although his chest was not directly attacked. But this terrifying punch still left a deep depression in the air. Shang Wuyuan's body sank into the interior of Heihuan Peak. He gasped and looked in horror at the young man who flashed in front of him again. Boom, boom, continuous attacks, like violent wind and rain, fell crazily on Shang Wuyuan's body. In front of Lu Yuan's violent power, the two of them were like bulldozers, plowing crazily through Heihuan Peak. In the end, the entire mountaintop exploded. Countless disciples howled and ran for their lives in despair. Shang Wuyuan's bones were all broken into pieces, and he no longer looked like a human being. Lu Yuan hit the temples on both sides of Shang Wuyuan's head with both hands at the same time. His head exploded like a ripe watermelon. Congratulations to the host, for killing 9 Shadow Demon Sect, Supreme Elder Shang Wuyuan, Cultivation Base Primordial Spirit Realm 3rd Layer. Total lifespan, 1,700 years. Remaining lifespan, 820 years. Successfully plundered Shoyuan, 820 years. The power of the heaven-defying Broken Blade and the demonic dragon bodyguard did not disappoint Lu Yuan. Especially the heaven-defying Broken Blade. Although it is only Earth-level martial arts, its power is very terrifying. The only drawback is that it consumes too much spiritual power. But Lu Yuan could ignore such shortcomings. When you have time, be sure to upgrade the heaven-defying Broken Blade to the heaven level first. With such terrifying power, no matter how much lifespan is consumed, it is worth it. Now it only carries one characteristic, and it can show such exaggerated combat power. If more knife skills are incorporated, the power is simply unimaginable. Lu Yuan put all 12 storage bags in his hands in front of everyone. Open the system panel and take a look. The remaining plunder of longevity, 4,273 years. This battle directly robbed more than 4,000 years of longevity. Lu Yuan's face covered with blood showed a smile. Thank you so much for helping me this time. Lu Yuan bowed his hands to the woman. Next, I'm going to the mission hall to inquire about the truth behind Zhang Mushui's disappearance. Looking at the bloody figure who left decisively, Shang Wanqing felt her heart beating rapidly at the moment when she and Lu Yuan looked at each other. She seemed to have seen a real demon. At this moment, in Shang Wanqing's eyes, Lu Yuan is a far more terrifying existence than Zhang Mushui. Because what Lu Yuan has shown now, whether it is talent, martial arts, fighting power, or ferocity, Zhang Mushui cannot compare with them. But, who would have thought that the waste of the tempered third layer could grow to such a terrifying level now? Xiaoshui, have you seen it? Shang Wanqing looked down at the shocked people in the red ground, and smiled from the bottom of his heart. Zhang Mushui and Lu Yuan are not related by blood. Lu Yuan's father rescued the young Zhang Mushui, and the two became like siblings. Shang Wanqing also asked Zhang Mushui before, is it worth putting in so much effort for a loser like Lu Yuan? It turns out that your vision is much better than that of my master. Now he is killing the entire 9 Shadow Demon sect because of you. Not long after Lu Yuan left, then more powerful auras appeared here. The sect master of the 9 Shadow Demon sect, the remaining peak masters, and many elders and supreme elders. Except for the 12 people killed by Lu Yuan, all the top executives of the 9 Shadow Demon sect came here. What's the situation? Who is it that is killing people wantonly in our 9 Shadow Demon sect? Sensing this overwhelming evil aura, all the elders were very angry. Moreover, even the main peak of Heihuan Peak was destroyed. You must know that the 9 main peaks of the 9 Shadow Demon sect are protected by formations. Ordinary fighting can only leave smaller holes in the mountain. If you want to blow up the main peak, you need at least a strong primordial spirit realm person to attack with all his strength. Honored Queen, where is the enemy? The leader of the 9 Shadow Demon sect is a middle-aged man with a beard. He is a little anxious at the moment. Finally, with the female queen's explanation, everyone gradually understood what happened. It's just that their expressions are getting more and more exciting. The good-for-nothing disciple Lu Yuan counterattacked and became the pinnacle master of Dan Bao. And killed all the elders of Heihuan Peak. He even jumped up the ranks and killed the master of Heihuan Peak. What's even more outrageous is that he killed the Supreme Elder Shang Wuyuan. Shang Wuyuan is the primordial spirit realm 3rd layer, ranking in the top 3 among our 9 shadow demon sects. Then what should we do now? Are we going to capture Lu Yuan? Still, these elders did not see Lu Yuan's fierce and terrifying appearance just now. But the elders who had been watching the battle here immediately stopped them when they heard that Lu Yuan was about to be captured. No, this time, Lu Yuan did not do anything wrong. He was just trying to protect himself. The reason is all because everyone in Heihuan Peak is greedy and wants to seize the great opportunity from Lu Yuan. That's why the powerful men at Heihuan Peak fell. However, the face of the head of the law enforcement hall was extremely ugly, and he was extremely angry. It's not his fault. He was the one who killed so many people in Heihuan Peak, yet it was not his fault. What, are you trying to protect him? My lady, the head of the law enforcement hall asked. The rules of our 9 shadow demon sect are indeed that the weak should eat the strong, and the strong should be respected. But these are aimed at the disciples. Lu Yuan killed several elders of the sect, and even killed the master of Heihuan Peak and the supreme elder. This is not a fight between disciples. This is to cut off the foundation of our 9 shadow demon sect. Taking a step back, Lu Yuan killed a large number of disciples and elders of our sect. No matter what, he needs to come to the law enforcement hall to explain clearly. The female leader snorted coldly. If you want to seize opportunities, just say so, why bother being coy and making people laugh? But as long as I am here, no one can touch Lu Yuan today. Also, Hall Master Wu, please use your brain and think about it. Lu Yuan can kill the Supreme Elder. Do you want to cause trouble for him, or do you want to kill him? You, the leader of the law enforcement hall, Hall Wu, turned red in the face and immediately wanted to seek justice from the sect leader. Lord Sect Leader, this matter. However, before he started to speak, the sect master waved his hand and stopped him. Idiot, Juyu sect master's face turned cold. Then Shang Wuyuan killed their Heihuan lineage because he was too stupid. We should naturally devote all our efforts to cultivating people like Lu Yuan who have great opportunities and great fortune. Now you idiots are forcing people to do this. It really pisses me off. Go back, everyone, and stay here. The leader of the Juyu sect pointed at the nose of the leader of the law enforcement hall and cursed, especially you, if you dare to mess around, I won't spare you. Sect Master, Hall Master Wu's face turned blue and white with anger, but in the end he could only say yes. The sect master has spoken. He must obey. Juyu sect master frowned, scolded these fools again in his mind, and then immediately issued an order. Lu Yuan has indeed been wrong this time. Junior sister Shangguan, please help us repair our relationship this time. If he wants revenge, just let him take revenge. Those losers will kill him if they want. Shangguan Qing nodded, yes. Juyu sect master. The most important thing is to convey the goodwill of our 9 shadow demon sect. As long as he is willing to stay in the 9 shadow demon sect, I will give him the position of Peak Master. Everyone gasped. The position of Peak Master. According to the sect's rules, only the primordial spirit realm is qualified to hold the position of Peak Master, and then Lu Yuan only holds the 9th layer of the alchemy realm. But I thought of Lu Yuan's record. No one dared to question it. Afterwards, all the elders turned into streams of light and left here. Only the leader of the law enforcement hall turned around and ran in the direction of Lu Yuan. Mission Hall. Lu Yuan came to the steward and asked, help me check what mission Wei Ming, the true disciple of Heihuan Peak, received a month ago. The steward raised his head and looked at Lu Yuan. Only the elders of the sector qualified to inquire about the information of the disciples who are performing tasks. Lu Yuan frowned slightly. At this moment, a masked woman wearing black gauze stood in front of Lu Yuan. I am qualified for this. Shangguan Qing's gentle voice sounded. The steward immediately saluted and said, disciple pays homage to the female lord. At the same time, he looked at Lu Yuan in surprise. This young man could actually walk with the female queen. Wei Ming received the mission a month ago, and the destination was outside the Skull Mountain Forbidden Area. The steward immediately replied. Shangguan Qing nodded and looked at Lu Yuan, what are you going to do next? Lu Yuan looked calm, I'm also going to the Skull Mountain Forbidden Area. If he is unlucky enough to be encountered by me, I will kill him along the way. The steward immediately opened his mouth. Kill the true disciples of the sect. Is this crazy? The key thing is that the lady did not stop it. The female lord nodded. The sect master ordered me to convey a message to you. 9 Shadow Demon sect has no ill intentions towards you. If you are willing to stay in the sect will do its best to cultivate you. The steward is completely confused. The sect wants to train this person with all his strength. Who is he? Lu Yuan was also a little surprised. Unexpectedly, the leader of the 9 Shadow Demon sect was a reasonable person. At this time, an extremely powerful aura came from the horizon. Lu Yuan felt a strong murderous aura and grinned. It seems that Shouyuan will also be delivered to your door. Chapter 31. Boom. At the end of the line of sight, Hall Master Wu of the Law Enforcement Hall and the 5 elders of the Law Enforcement Hall looked down at Lu Yuan below. The aura of terror is raging. The clever disciples had already begun to flee far away from the place of right and wrong. As that, the head of the Law Enforcement Hall. There are several other elders of the Law Enforcement Hall. What crime did this disciple commit that caused the Law Enforcement Hall to dispatch so many people? Shang Guanqing's gentle voice came. The master of the Law Enforcement Hall has been promoted to the primordial spirit realm 500 years ago. His strength is unfathomable, so be careful. Lu Yuan nodded slightly. The huge and long Zanpakuto was already carried on his shoulders. These old men are a bit older. However, Lu Yuan is by no means too little in terms of the longevity that comes to his door. Seeing Lu Yuan's posture, Shang Guanqing crossed her arms and said, "It seems that the sect leader is going crazy again." Everyone in the Law Enforcement Hall was condescending, and the sound of the bell echoed throughout the mountain. Lu Yuan, follow me into the Law Enforcement Hall. Or, die. Hall Master Wu is full of murderous intent and will take action as soon as he comes. Come and fight. Lu Yuan grinned. He liked this kind of non-committal approach. The Zanpakuto cut through the void. A slash that was impossible to watch was shot out. Wait for the sword light to strike. Hall Master Wu's slightly stooped body suddenly moved, his steps were steady, and the spear seemed to be alive in his hands. The tip of the spear was like a strange spiritual snake, stabbing out continuously, and countless phantoms of the spear tip instantly enveloped it. Boom! The sword light and the gun shadow collide. A sharp and piercing whistling sound sounded, and even the space was torn apart. At the moment of collision, the endless gun shadow instantly shattered. Hall Leader Wu's figure also retreated thousands of meters in the air before he could completely remove the force of the sword. Hall Master Wu looked at the young figure with a solemn expression. I didn't expect this boy's strength to be so terrifying. Fortunately, he didn't ask for help and called some of his old brothers. Junior brothers, follow me and capture this traitor. Hall Master Wu shouted loudly and raised his gun again. His figure became increasingly blurry, and his shooting skills became faster and faster, like a bolt of lightning. Facing the monstrous gun shadow offensive, Lu Yuan stood in the air and slashed with a knife indifferently. Countless broken blades appeared in the sky above the hall, and the blood energy was raging. Lu Yuan formed a seal with his hands, and thousands of blades began to rotate and arrange behind him according to his will, forming a huge sword formation. Lu Yuan slowly opened his arms, and thousands of blades shot out of the air like arrows. Swish, swish, swish. Hall Master Wu and others used their law weapons one after another, and easily withstood the first wave of attacks. That's it. Hall Leader Wu raised the corner of his mouth with disdain. But before he finished speaking, he saw more blades, slashing at him overwhelmingly. Everyone in the Law Enforcement Hall gathered their spiritual energy again to resist the attack. But there's more to come. The endless rain of blades came with constant slashes. Under such an offensive, everyone in the Law Enforcement Hall retreated one after another. In the end, the corpses of several elders were all nailed to the ground with broken blades. Even a huge hole was made on the ground by the endless rain of knives. The most powerful Hall Leader Wu was also covered in blood and seriously injured. He regretted it. If I had known earlier, I would have listened to the sect leader and stayed in the Law Enforcement Hall honestly. At this moment, all the spiritual energy in his body had been exhausted, and it was too late to run away. The desperate young man suddenly flashed over, and the huge Zanpakuto slashed across Master Wu's neck. Blood spurted out and the head rolled off. Everyone in the Law Enforcement Hall has been killed. Congratulations to the host, for killing 9 Shadow Demon Sect Law Enforcement Hall Masters, cultivating Primordial Spirit Realm 2nd Layer. Successfully plundered Shoyuan. 430 years. Congratulations to the host, for killing 9 Shadow Demon Sect Law Enforcement Hall Elders, cultivating the 9th Layer. Successfully plundered Shoyuan. 101 years. Congratulations to the host, for killing 9 Shadow Demon Sect Law Enforcement Hall Elders. System prompts kept coming to my ears. Lu Yuan skillfully pocketed the 5 storage bags. On the final system panel, the lifespan of the plunder was once again increased by 932 years. Remaining plunder of longevity, 5,205 years. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Other disciples, or stewards, had already been completely shocked. Who is this? He is so fierce. Moreover, the sword formation was so terrifying that it could continuously shoot out a hail of knives. The elders of the Law Enforcement Hall were directly annihilated. 9 Shadow Demon Sect Main Peak. The sect leader is dealing with the Heihuan Peak affairs with a headache. Fortunately, there are still elders in Heihuan Peak who have not been killed and can still function. Just ready to breathe a sigh of relief. Then he felt the familiar bloody sword energy again. The elders also widened their eyes in disbelief. Sect Master, it seems that he has taken action again. The sect leader was a little helpless. Yeah. It should be the Law Enforcement Hall. I hope Hall Master Wu didn't call other elders. The sect leader sighed. Go and investigate. Several elders have died this time. On the surface, the leader of Juyu sect can barely survive. But in my heart, I have already scolded these idiots for 18 generations. How stupid. Why did you bring out such a stupid team? It should have been a blessing for the sect to have a proud man like Lu Yuan come out of the sect. It can even make the 9 Shadow Demon Sect strong for thousands more years. However, due to these idiots' tricks, the 9 Shadow Demon Sect is about to become extinct. It's better to die, the leader of Juyu sect said to himself dully. If Lu Yuan can be brought back, the 9 Shadow Demon Sect can be glorious for thousands more years. The Lord is wise. The elders were convinced this time. Most of them had advocated capturing Lu Yuan before, if the sect leader hadn't calmed everyone down. I'm afraid they've also lost their heads. Lu Yuan is a very scary person, and he is not something that people like them can provoke. Shangguan Qing stood behind Lu Yuan and opened her mouth again. Even if you have already seen such a scene. But seeing this terrifying blade again, the well-informed female queen still felt terrified. And, this martial arts is so powerful that it must consume a lot of spiritual power. But Lu Yuan actually released it so many times in 2 consecutive battles. It's really powerful. After a long time, the female queen came back to her senses. Come with me to Xiaoshui's cave mansion. She also left something for you. 9 Shadow Demon Sect, a quiet valley. It's very cold here, and the spiritual power is extremely abundant. But the environment here is very simple. There is only one small courtyard and one cabin in the entire valley. This is all Zhang Mushui has. Lu Yuan looked at the scene here, and all the memories of Zhang Mushui came to mind. There wasn't much about Zhang Mushui in his memory. In my memory, a few years ago, the two of them often went out together and visited Celestial Immortal City. But since Zhang Mushui became a saint, she has become very hurried and spends most of her time practicing. But every time he returned to the sect, Zhang Mushui would give Lu Yuan some training resources. In the past few days, time has been either fighting or fighting. Lu Yuan also felt tired at this moment. He actually lay directly on Zhang Mushui's bed and fell asleep. Day and night turn around, and in a blink of an eye it's the next day. Lu Yuan woke up feeling refreshed. Even his cultivation showed some signs of loosening. At this moment, Shangguan Qing opened the door and walked in. This is the alien martial arts that Xiaoshui personally helped you find. It is said that practicing this method can temper the soul's power and improve your qualifications to a certain extent. Shangguan Qing thought about everything yesterday and couldn't help but sigh, but now you don't need it anymore. Lu Yuan took over a broken parchment full of traces of time. Earth-level martial arts. Immortal Soul Seed. It turned out to be an Earth-level martial arts. Lu Yuan looked at the parchment in his hand, a little lost in thought. Zhang Mushui. It's really good for myself. Lu Yuan opened the craft paper with great anticipation. He couldn't understand it. And I can't understand a single word. What is recorded here is not the text of human race at all. Fortunately, Zhang Mushui left some notes on it. This is a special martial art that tempers the soul. In alien legends, after the soul power becomes stronger, it will conform to the way of heaven, and the cultivation talent will naturally increase. But practicing this martial art requires enduring soul-crushing pain. The pain can be emotionally draining. Ordinary people simply cannot bear it. This martial arts is indeed interesting. However, Lu Yuan did not start practicing immediately, and gained a lot this time. It's better to organize it first and then make plans. Lu Yuan sat on Zhang Mushui's bed. With a wave of his hand, 13 storage bags appeared in front of him. I hope these elders of the 9 Shadow Demon sect will not disappoint. It would be best to have some treasures to assist in breaking through the primordial spirit realm. Lu Yuan spent a cup of tea roughly sorting it out. A total of 300,000 low-grade spiritual stones, 90,000 middle-grade spiritual stones, and 5,000 high-grade spiritual stones. There are 25 third-level law weapons, and there are more than 300 law weapons below third level. There are countless kinds of messy elixirs. The most important thing is martial arts. Ignore all Huang-level martial arts. 15 books on Xuanji martial arts. A copy of Earth-level martial arts. As expected of a high-ranking member of the 9 Shadow Demon sect, he has a rich family background. This amount of resources can be used to establish a small or large sect. Lu Yuan was very satisfied. But how should we practice now? Although there are many martial arts, combat effectiveness can be improved. But Lu Yuan's cultivation has reached the peak of 9th layer. Based on his cultivation qualifications, if he wanted to break through to the primordial spirit realm, he would need no special spiritual objects or some shortcut methods. The time required must be astronomical. Well, primordial spirit realm. How to condense this primordial spirit? Lu Yuan had no information related to the primordial spirit realm in his mind. Wrong. Suddenly, he remembered the Martial Tao Comprehensive Interpretation, written by a powerful man from the primordial spirit realm. Lu Yuan immediately took out the book and began to read it carefully. Primordial spirit is the embodiment of the soul. According to the records in the book, generally speaking, if you want to break through to the primordial spirit realm, you need to concretize the soul power and condense the primordial spirit bit by bit. This requires not only time, but also talent. However, this senior also provided a bold conjecture. After entering the primordial spirit realm, you can make the primordial spirit more solid and powerful through practice. If we find a way to condense the soul before the primordial spirit realm, we may be able to speed up the process of condensing the primordial spirit. Temper the soul. Zhang Mushui helped him find the martial arts, wasn't it just for tempering his soul? To practice this martial arts, ordinary people need to endure unbearable pain, so the threshold for practice is extremely high. But Lu Yuan doesn't care. He's hooked. Open the system panel. Immortal Soul Seed, not yet started. Lu Yuan injected Shouyuan into it. You finally wake up, know that soul power is the foundation of a monk, and start practicing high-level soul martial arts. But, Immortal Soul Seed, is a foreign martial art. You can't even recognize the characters, how can you practice it? This makes you feel very sad. Lu Yuan immediately interrupted the simulation. If you don't know how to read, how should you practice? Somewhat difficult to handle. Looking at the female queen in black clothes standing outside the courtyard, Lu Yuan began to ask for advice. My lady, can you recognize the alien writing? Shang Wanqing was a little surprised. You want to practice this martial arts? She couldn't understand why Lu Yuan had to endure tremendous pain to practice this kind of martial arts with his talent. Lu Yuan nodded. Fortunately, the entire article on martial arts is only about 300 words. With Shang Wanqing's help, he quickly understood the full meaning. Then he started to continue practicing. You finally understand every word in the exercise and start practicing. You find that although this alien martial arts is simple and crude, and the training method is simple, this method is very suitable for you who are dull in talent. You felt the pain of soul tearing and fainted. You are a training machine without emotions. After you wake up, you continue to practice. After suffering, you fall into a coma. Fortunately, your soul power is stronger than ordinary people. After 5 years of training, you have cultivated the immortal hybrid to the entry level. You are also crazy. In the 25th year, because you have endured inhuman pain for many years, your heart has become morbidly distorted, and you feel as if you like this kind of pain. In the 58th year, the pain made you crazy. In the decades-long pain, you completely lost your mind and went crazy. At the same time, the immortal soul seed enters the basic accomplishment realm. You are experiencing pain every day until you can no longer bear it and fall into a coma before you can get a short rest. But soon you will wake up in pain again. 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, 100 years. During this period, you wanted to commit suicide countless times, but you couldn't do it, and you couldn't even stop practicing. The never-ending pain is like maggots attached to your bones. You can't escape. You dance crazily in the moonlight with weird steps, like an evil ghost crawling out of hell. But this is a true reflection of your heart. 120 years later, you get up from the ground, with a numb look in your eyes, an invisible force radiates from your body, and everything around you turns into nothingness. The immortal soul seed has reached the realm of great accomplishment. In the 198th year, the soul power is getting stronger and stronger. You have long been accustomed to this kind of pain, but you still cannot avoid falling into madness. In the endless pain, you are sometimes crazy and sometimes silent. You have been carved by pain and become a complete pervert. You are crazy because of pain, and you are also happy because of pain. In the 270th year, in the endless sinking, you have already lost your mind. The funny thing is that your only memory is the cultivation method of the immortal soul seed. In the 299th year, you fell into pain again. The picture in your mind at this moment was like rewinding. In the memory scene of regression, you seem to have experienced a reverse life, from a painful and crazy madman to a handsome and indifferent young man step by step. When you wake up, you suddenly wake up. Your soul power has reached an unprecedented height and has become a substance. You sigh in your heart, maybe the legendary primordial spirit is nothing more than that. The immortal soul seed has reached the state of perfection. Consumption and plundering longevity, 299 years. Immortal soul seed not started, right pointing arrow perfection. Lu Yuan suddenly opened his eyes, and then lay on the bed in pain. The powerful soul power, accompanied by 299 years of pain, returned to him at this moment. Pain, endless pain. It wasn't until a quarter of an hour later that Lu Yuan gradually woke up. Invisible power attached to his body, exuding a cold, soul-stirring power. Powerful. Lu Yuan felt that his will had become extremely powerful. The ordinary ninth layer Bao Dan didn't even dare to get close to his body. Sheng Wanqing in the courtyard suddenly turned around. He felt a powerful soul power suddenly burst out from Lu Yuan's body. The soul is the primordial spirit. There is only one reason why a monk who has not entered the primordial spirit realm has such a powerful soul power. Seize the house. Sheng Wanqing frowned slightly, her eyes exuding cold spiritual power as she stared at Lu Yuan's body. This gaze was very piercing, as if it wanted to pierce his body and see with his own eyes who that soul was. Seeing that Lu Yuan's body and soul were in perfect harmony, Sheng Wanqing breathed a sigh of relief. But more doubts came to mind. How can it be? A monk in the alchemy realm actually possesses soul power comparable to the primordial spirit realm. Lu Yuan sat down cross-legged and immersed himself in cultivation. He didn't know that just a hint of his aura made Sheng Wanqing in the primordial spirit realm so nervous. The whole body exudes a faint blue light. The surrounding spiritual energy seemed to be summoned and began to converge towards him, forming a huge spiritual energy vortex. In the sky, the originally clear blue sky suddenly became covered with dark clouds and there was a faint sound of thunder. It was as if all the energy in the world had gathered in this valley at this moment. In Lu Yuan's body, the fluctuations of spiritual power became more and more intense, as if he was about to break through some kind of limit. The illusory soul power begins to solidify. Soul Lu Yuan suddenly opened his eyes. At this moment, a dazzling light shot out from Lu Yuan's Tianling cap and shot straight into the sky. Boom! Lu Yuan's hair and sleeves were dancing wildly in the energy, and his aura was getting stronger and stronger. Lu Yuan, who was in a white soul state, slowly floated up. standing in the sky. The entire Nine Shadow Demon sect was covered by his soul. At this moment, he could clearly see everyone in the Nine Shadow Demon sect. Cardinal helping the Acacia sect to rebuild. Sheng Wanqing was sitting cross-legged in the courtyard meditating. Even the 3 elders of the outer sect, including the young figure standing quietly in place with long hair flying below. Primordial spirit out of body. How can this be? Sheng Wanqing saw with her own eyes that Lu Yuan's aura continued to surge. Then came the vision that covered the sky and the sun. Primordial spirit realm. In the blink of an eye, Lu Yuan broke through from the Danbao realm to the primordial spirit realm. This terrifying promotion speed is simply unheard of. When Sheng Wanqing broke through the primordial spirit realm, it took him 5 years. This is simply a miracle. Lu Yuan's talent has surpassed Zhang Mushui. In the sect's main hall, the senior executives of Nine Shadow Demon sect suddenly changed their expressions and all rushed out of the hall. Even though they were hundreds of kilometers apart, they could still see the terrifying primordial spirit light beam. Even from their perspective, the vision was even more spectacular. The white soul light beam reaches straight into the sky, breaking through the layers of clouds and leaving ripples in the sky 10,000 meters high. This, if I remember correctly, it should be in the direction of Zhang Mushui's cave mansion. The sect leader murmured in a low voice. Who actually broke through the primordial spirit realm and caused such a terrifying vision? An elder wondered. The sect leader rolled his eyes. Who else could it be besides Lu Yuan? You don't think that those guys in the sect who are similar in strength to you can cause such terrifying visions by breaking through the primordial spirit realm? Well, the elders were speechless. Sect master, yesterday at Heihuan Peak, there was a vision of being promoted to Danbao. One of the elders' eyes widened. Isn't it also Lu Yuan? Also, a few days ago, a disciple broke through to the Guiyuan realm, which also caused a large-scale strange phenomenon. Could it be that these are all? The elders seemed to have discovered something terrible, and even their voices became startled. The sect leader looked at the white light pillar, feeling a little dazed. Break through one after another in a short period of time, from the tempered body 3rd layer to the primordial spirit realm. What kind of genius did Shadow Demon sect miss? Well, a sigh echoed in the hall. Heihuan Peak ruins. There are rocks everywhere and various collapsed houses. A woman in red is instructing the disciples to move things. Suddenly, the whole sky lit up. Cardinal looked back and saw the light reaching into the sky. What a terrifying vision. Is this a senior who has achieved a breakthrough in cultivation? Immediately, he seemed to be thinking of someone, and a look of worry flashed across Honk's face. I don't know how he is doing. Valley Courtyard. Lu Yuan's primordial spirit swept through the sect. Although most of them are strangers, there are also many familiar friends and some places he is familiar with. The dilapidated courtyard of a handyman couple. Wyman Huxon Villa. Neiman Heihuan Peak. The main hall of the clan. Lu Yuan passed this observation. I also roughly understood the limits of primordial spirit detection. Just for observation, it can cover about 200 kilometers. But if you want to fight or affect something, this range will shrink sharply, about 10 or 20 miles. Tried the various functions of primordial spirit again. Lu Yuan returned the primordial spirit and opened the system panel. Host. Lu Yuan. Realm. Primordial spirit 1st layer. Martial arts. Xuanji. Spirit devouring ghost / pure Yongkang, blood fiend pill, glimpse. Earth level. The broken blade against heaven. Heaven level. Dragon bodyguard enhanced. Remaining lifespan. 1,751 years. The remaining plunder of Shouyuan. 4,906 years. I have just broken through to the primordial spirit realm, and I still have a lot of life balance, so I can't waste it. Lu Yuan decisively began to improve his strength. First of all, it is the earth-level martial arts obtained from the master of the law enforcement hall. Lu Yuan injected a large amount of longevity energy. Earth level, demon ceiling, not yet started. For some reason, your mind is particularly clear today. In the past, you wanted to sleep when you saw the exercises, but today you entered the cultivation state easily. And you seem to have some talent in swordsmanship. Even if it is an earth-level swordsmanship, you can still barely understand it. In the 7th year, you successfully learned how to seal the demon. In the 28th year, you will practice demon sealing / to the level of basic accomplishment. Consumption and plundering of longevity, 158 years. Earth level demon sealing, not yet started, right pointing arrow, perfect. Lu Yuan spent some lifespan. Through simulation again, I practiced 2 Zon level martial arts. Consumption and plundering longevity, 98 years. Blood Fury 3rd layer cut, not yet started, right pointing arrow, perfect. Consumption and plundering of longevity, 148 years. Fire Demon Sword Dance, not yet started, right pointing arrow, perfect. After practicing the 5 sword techniques, Lu Yuan began to use the heaven-defying broken blade as a model to integrate sword techniques. Integrating martial arts, consuming and plundering longevity, 1000 years. Lost, the heaven-defying broken blade, devil sealing / soul-eating ghost / blood fury 3rd layer / fire demon sword dance. Get, reverse heavenly demon blade, strong. Heavenly level, reverse heavenly demon blade, strong, not yet started. The new martial arts appears in the system panel. After Lu Yuan started practicing the simulation, he turned around and started walking out. From afar, Lu Yuan saw the lady in black. Facing the siege of the Supreme Elder for the first time before, Lu Yuan would not have been so relaxed if Shangguan Qing had not come to help. Shangguan Qing's gentle voice sounded, "Are you leaving?" Yes. Lu Yuan had a serious expression and bowed his hands, "Thank you so much for your help earlier." Shangguan Qing seemed to have expected it and was not surprised. She just nodded slightly. Where to go? Skull Mountain Forbidden Area. Lu Yuan looked into the distance, towards the far north. He and his predecessor have long been integrated into one body, not to mention that both his predecessor and him have received many favors from Zhang Mushui. No matter what, I have to go to the Skull Mountain Forbidden Area after all. Lu Yuan turned around and left calmly, leaving only one sentence in the void. There is a disciple named Honk in Heihuan Peak. He has helped me before. I hope that the female lord can help me take care of him. The female queen looked at the young man's free and easy back, feeling a little envious in her heart. Envy Zhang Mushui. Lu Yuan looked at the gradually shrinking 9 shadow demon sect, and the beautiful young woman in a black dress emerged in his mind. The heroine is really a good person. As a member of the demon sect, not only did he not want to snatch his opportunity like other elders did. It helped him so much. At this moment, his second heaven level martial arts was finally completed. Consumption of plundered longevity, 1,800 years. The heaven-defying broken blade, not yet started, right pointing arrow, superb. Cultivation. Primordial spirit 1st layer, right pointing arrow 3rd layer. The remaining plundered longevity, 1,702 years. Celestial Immortal City. This is a city that belongs to practitioners, and is ranked among the best in Lingwu. Many large and small forces and families have established branches here. Therefore, a large number of rare treasures are gathered here. Martial arts, elixirs, law weapon. As long as you have enough wealth, this can satisfy all your needs. In memory, Zhang Mushui liked this lively celestial immortal city very much when she was a child. Every time she goes down the mountain, she will buy a lot of delicious food. But since she became a saint, the two of them have never visited celestial immortal city together. Lu Yuan walked slowly along the streets of the city alone. Most of the people around him have long breathing and full energy, and they are obviously practitioners who have great cultivation skills. Occasionally, he could see some monks riding supernatural beasts, running wildly through the crowd. How majestic! At this time, a huge shancha, like a giant ship transmigrating time and space, broke out of the clouds and slowly sailed towards celestial immortal city. Shancha is the nickname of Feijo. It is a relatively common means of transportation in this world. The hull of this immortal ship is carved from 1,000-year-old spiritual wood. It is exquisite and thick. The ship is crowded with people, most of whom are powerful monks. As the defensive formation opened a gap, Shancha slowly landed on the port. I wonder if there are any immortals heading to Skull Mountain. A trace of expectation flashed in Lu Yuan's eyes. In his previous life, he had never even flown on an airplane. Although in this life, he already has the ability to step on the void. But for journeys that can easily reach tens of thousands or even millions of miles, it is more convenient to take the shancha. Shansha Port, like a suspended island, suspended directly above celestial immortal city. The entire port is huge and majestic, very shocking. It is covered with various formations and talismans, shining with various colors of light. At this time, the port was very lively with people coming and going. But today, most people are talking about the same topic. A passionate story about how a useless young man who was suppressed by fate resisted injustice and killed the strong. It is said that something big happened in the Shadow Demon sect yesterday. Someone whispered. Oh, the saint of the 9 Shadow Demon sect just fell. What big thing happened? This matter is really related to this fallen saint. It is said that the saint's younger brother, Lu Yuan, was once a loser. In the past, he relied on his identity as a saint to show off his power in the 9 Shadow Demon sect. But after the saint was killed, he began to secretly accumulate strength and practice hard. In the end, he killed all those who killed the saint of the 9 Nethers in one fell swoop, causing the entire 9 Shadow Demon sect to bleed like a river, and even several elders died. No, I heard that he is the fiancé of Saint Juyu, and he killed someone for love. Nonsense, that Lu Yuan is clearly a disciple of Heihuan Peak, and he is also having an affair with a woman named Honk. There is such a passionate story. Brother, Hisoka, Hisoka. Although the rumors became more and more outrageous, all the discussions eventually turned into one question. Lu Yuan, who is he? When Lu Yuan stepped into the Shansha port of Celestial Immortal City, he naturally heard the word, himself, in everyone's mouth. Unexpectedly, in just one day, this matter spread. However, what Lu Yuan didn't know was that as soon as he landed at Shansha port, his identity had been revealed. On top of the largest fairy tree in the entire port, several people were holding a portrait, and the person on the picture was Lu Yuan. An old man with a round face gently twirled his beard, a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. Exactly like the portrait. Is he that Lu Yuan? The woman next to him wearing a red cheongsam and with a graceful figure narrowed her eyes slightly. This person has a strong aura. At least he is in the late stage of Danbao realm, which is consistent with the rumors. The most important thing is that the evil spirit exuding from his body is very heavy. Lu Yuan had a series of battles yesterday and killed a large number of powerful people. Naturally, there was a trace of evil energy left on his body. Monks with advanced cultivation can more or less sense it. My Shansha ship needs to pass through many dangerous places this time, and it just needs such strong men to plunder the formation. The Cheongsam woman's eyes showed surprise. If she could invite Lu Yuan to ride on her Shansha, there would be no need to worry about safety issues during this trip. And as the stewards of the Shansha Alliance, it is their job to make friends with the geniuses. The woman in the red cheongsam twisted her waist and walked slowly to Lu Yuan. Sir, do you want to take the Shansha? Is there anyone going to the forbidden area of Skull Mountain? Lu Yuan's voice was calm, but like the waves in a deep pool, it was unpredictable. Skull Mountain forbidden area. The noisy crowd around him fell silent. Focus your attention on Lu Yuan. Those who dare to venture into forbidden areas are either fools or masters. It's just that this young man, who ventured into the forbidden area of Skull Mountain alone, was probably the former. But when the Cheongsam woman heard this, she not only looked happy, but also bowed her hands very respectfully. Sir, please come with me. The people around were stunned. What's the situation? The Shansha Alliance is a powerful dragon across the river, and cannot be compared to local snakes like Ju's Shadow Demon sect. This Cheongsam woman is the steward of the Celestial Immortal City branch of the Shansha Alliance, and her status is very noble. But she personally came to invite this young man to ride on the Shansha. Sir, please. The Cheongsam woman led the way. Although Lu Yuan was a little confused. But he thinks that his strength is fearless in this Celestial Immortal City. He simply followed the woman and left. Soon, the two came to a huge fairy tree that was tens of thousands of meters long. In this Shansha, the rooms are divided into 3 levels, upper, middle and lower. Monks are naturally very particular and no one wants to be stepped on. Therefore, those who can live at the top are the strongest. The Cheongsam woman bowed to Lu Yuan and saluted. Mr. Lu, my little girl Yang Lu is so polite. There were a lot of people talking just now, so I didn't reveal the identity of the young master. Please don't blame me. Lu Yuan raised his eyebrows slightly, waiting for the other party to explain. As we all know, our Shansha Alliance values Tianzhao the most. As the Tianzhao among Tianzhao, Mr. Liu is naturally the most valued guest of our Shansha Alliance. Not only is there no charge for your Shansha Alliance flight, you can also stay in the most luxurious room. Moreover, we, the Shansha Alliance, do not have any restrictions on you. We only hope that we, the Shansha Alliance, can have more contacts with the young master in the future. Girl, you're welcome. Lu Yuan sighed. This Shansha Alliance is indeed a powerful force. This little steward is so capable that he was recognized as soon as he appeared. Moreover, the manager's handling of the whole matter was completely impossible to find fault with. It has to be admired. But, as a merchant alliance, the Shansha Alliance will naturally not engage in loss-making transactions. Putting interests first is the purpose of Shansha Alliance. The other party has attracted the talents of the major forces, but it also gives itself more resources and confidence. Harmony brings wealth. There is no harm in establishing some connections with the Shansha Alliance. Therefore, Lu Yuan readily accepted it. Under the leadership of Yang Lu, the two walked through the luxurious Shansha and soon reached the top floor. Ferry number 1. Sir, please come in. Yang Lu bowed and saluted, while showing a very professional smile. This trip to the forbidden area of Skull Mountain is a long way and will pass through the territories of many ferocious beasts. Please pay more attention, sir. Miss Yangliu, walk slowly. Lu Yuan nodded, opened the door, and entered the most noble room in this luxurious fairy house. Entering the room, Lu Yuan's eyes couldn't help but be a little surprised. The room is huge, like a martial arts arena. There is such a big room in this immortal mansion with so much land and so much money. The furniture is all fine, but it's all made of precious spiritual wood. But the practice room is terrible. There is actually a high-level spirit gathering formation here, as well as a concentration incense. As soon as Lu Yuan walked into the practice room, he was surrounded by smoky spiritual mist. As expected of the Shansha Alliance, they are indeed rich and powerful. Lu Yuan nodded with satisfaction. The journey was long, so Lu Yuan just took advantage of the 6 days to sort out his martial arts. Prepare for the Skull Mountain Forbidden Area. 3 days later. Ferry number 1. Lu Yuan was wearing white clothes and silver armor, holding a Zanpakudo in his hand. Reverse Heavenly Demon Blade movement. The terrifying knife power rippled, and even the air trembled. A dozen blades emitting blue light solidified behind Lu Yuan. They were extremely sharp, just like real blades. With the slight movement of Lu Yuan's thoughts, these blades slowly rotated around him, like a giant dragon made of blades soaring in the air. If Lu Yuan faced an enemy, these blades could leave countless fatal holes in the opponent's body with just a thought. The Heavenly Demon Blade, which has reached the realm of divine transformation, is really powerful. Lu Yuan secretly admired in his heart that the power of this kind of martial arts far exceeded his expectations. At this time, there was a knock on the door. Lu Yuan opened the door and saw Miss Yangliu from the Shansha Alliance. Master Lu. Yang Lu bowed slightly. I came here today to inquire about a piece of news about the forbidden area of Skull Mountain. Lu Yuan invited Yang Lu into the room. Yang Lu asked. Master Lu went to the forbidden area of Skull Mountain, probably to find Zhang Mushui, right? Lu Yuan nodded. There was no need to hide this matter. Then Mr. Lu, be careful. Yang Lu looked a little serious. As far as I know, Miss Zhang disappeared in the legendary Five Elements prison. The Five Elements prison is the forbidden place among the forbidden places. There are rumors in the world that there are countless secret treasures in the Five Elements prison, but no one can come out of the Five Elements prison alive. Moreover, the Skull Mountain forbidden area is now very chaotic. Dragon beasts are raging and poisonous fog is filling the air. It is even more difficult to enter the Five Elements forbidden prison. Young master, you'd better prepare more things in case of emergencies. Five Elements prison. Lu Yuan frowned slightly. He didn't know much about the Skull Mountain forbidden area. But I've also heard of the name of the Five Elements prison. It is said that many monks from Violet Palace realm died in it. Lu Yuan handed over his hand. Thanks for the reminder, girl. Afterwards, Miss Yangliu said some precautions in the forbidden area, and then left. Lu Yuan continued to study martial arts. At present, I only have low-level martial arts. But there are merits. Lu Yuan selected some interesting ones and conducted simulated training. In the following 2 days, there were only a few waves of low-level flying monster attacks, which the Shansha guards easily dealt with. Now, there were people chatting on the Shansha deck. The focus of their talk is mostly the mysterious strong man who lives in Shanzi number 1. This time, the strong man living in Shanzi number 1 is really mysterious. I am fortunate enough to have seen a young man enter Shanzi number 1. However, he was too young and his aura was erratic. It is difficult to say the young man's identity. Generally speaking, those who can live in Shanzi number 1 are top experts. If there is no strong man sitting in charge, how can we dare to ride on this fairy ship? After all, we are going across the abyss to the Skull Mountain Forbidden Land. Suddenly, there is a mountain peak ahead that breaks through the clouds, revealing a shadow. The guards immediately became serious. The front is about to pass Tianyuan, passengers should be careful. The word Tianyuan make everyone nervous. Tianyuan is a dangerous place. It's only 600 miles wide, but its length is endless. It is said that Tianyuan is a slash left by the ancient powerful, and its length runs through the entire continent. Today's Tianyuan has become a habitat for monsters. It breeds countless great monsters. The unknown is the most dangerous. No one knows what level of monsters they will encounter when crossing the abyss. The guard captain looked solemn. I don't know why, but I always have a bad feeling. There was a hint of uneasiness in his voice. Yonglu was relatively calm. Don't worry, I've been promoted to the 9th layer. As long as I don't encounter a 4th level monster, I'm sure. And the spiritual cannon on Shansha is extremely powerful. It only takes one shot to seriously injure a 4th level monster. What if it's a higher level monster? The guard captain was a little confused. Hearing the words, Yonglu is very confident. With Mr. Lu, we won't be in any danger on this trip. Hear what the steward said. The guards around were a little surprised. At the same time, I am also very curious, wondering who this Master Lu is, who actually allowed the steward to give such a high evaluation. At this moment, a guard frowned slightly and looked towards the horizon. Why did a black cloud suddenly appear? Idiot, the person next to him yelled. Steward, a monster is coming. Everyone, prepare to resist the monster. In the blink of an eye, the black cloud had arrived, and everyone could clearly see the appearance of this group of monsters. There are countless poisonous insects. The guard captain yelled angrily. 3rd level monster, heavenly demon. Everyone looked ugly. The heavenly demon poisonous insect is ferocious, bloodthirsty, and highly poisonous. The key is that it is a gregarious monster. There are at least tens of thousands of heavenly demon poisonous insects in this dense area. With such a large number of monster beasts, the insect king must have been born. At least level 4. If it were level 5, it would be comparable to the powerful primordial spirit realm. This fairy ship cannot stop the attacks of primordial spirit realm monsters. It's over, it's over. It's all over now. I don't want to die here, I still want to continue practicing, and I still want to get ahead. Some people with low psychological quality have already begun to cry and howl. Yonglu scolded her mother. While appeasing everyone, he issued instructions one after another in an orderly manner. Don't panic, everyone. Although the heavenly demon is difficult to deal with, our fairy tree is not made of paper. Activate the defensive formation. Spiritual cannon, fire. The spiritual cannon on Shansha has the power of the 9th layer. However, each attack requires tens of thousands of low-grade spiritual stones. There are not many spiritual stone reserves on Shansha. Boom, boom, boom. 10 spiritual cannons bombarded one after another. Every time there is a bombing, several heavenly demon poisonous insects will be blown to pieces. But there are too many heavenly demon poisonous insects. The spiritual cannon can only slow down the speed of the heavenly demon poisonous insects approaching Shansha. After a stick of incense, the heavenly demon poisonous insects have already surged in front of Shansha like a black torrent. Through defensive formations, everyone can clearly see those ferocious heavenly demon poisonous insects. Their bodies are covered with a hard shell, the beast's eyes are red, and some dark green venom oozes from the teeth in their mouths. Activate the defensive formation with all your strength. Yonglu slashed the heavenly demon poisonous insect in front of him with a knife and shouted. A golden ripple flashed in midair, and driven by the terrifying spiritual power, the runes on the defensive formation almost solidified. Boom, boom, boom. The heavenly demon poisonous insects seemed not to be afraid of death, and even directly hit Shancha's defensive formation with their hard bodies. Tens of thousands of heavenly demon poisonous insects, attacking without fear of death. Just a cup of tea. Several tiny cracks have appeared on Shancha's defensive array, spreading rapidly like a spider web. The cracks are constantly spreading, as if it may collapse at any time. Everyone's heart was in their throats. Not good. The defensive formation is about to be broken. The guards' exclamations were like a bolt from the blue. Once the defensive formation is broken, they will face the ferocious monster group. Certain death. Desperation spread among the crowd. The thousands of people in Shancha had no chance of winning when faced with heavenly demon poisonous insects that were 10 times their number. Once the heavenly demon poisonous insects rush in, the entire Shancha will become their dinner, and no one will be spared. Stewardship. The guard captain stabbed a heavenly demon poisonous insect to death with the spear in his hand. There are too many heavenly demon poisonous insects, what should we do? Yonglu didn't speak, just looked at Shanzi number 1 with his lips pursed. Everyone also followed her gaze and looked towards the 3rd floor. Yes, there are seniors like Xian Z number 1, we still have a chance. But the monster is getting closer and closer. Why doesn't senior Shanzi number 1 come out? Senior, please come out of seclusion quickly to save my life. At this time, a sigh came from the room. The door of Shanzi number 2 was pushed open violently. A middle-aged monk with a powerful aura all over his body stepped into the void and walked out slowly. His figure instantly dissipated in place. When he appeared again, he had already rushed outside the defensive formation. The golden light lingering around him exploded, instantly blowing dozens of 3rd-level heavenly demon poisonous insects into pieces. With me here, I will naturally protect your life. The middle-aged monk's voice echoed in the void. Quote exclamation mark quote. The guests on Shancha looked at this scene in shock, and there was a surge of ecstasy in their hearts. This is a monk in the Danbao realm. Oh my god, he turned out to be a monk in the Danbao realm. Now we are saved. The guests on Shancha breathed a sigh of relief. It is very easy for a monk in the Danbao realm to face the 3rd-level heavenly demon poisonous insect. Although it is impossible to kill all the tens of thousands of poisonous insects, it does not seem to be difficult to drive them away. However, the brows of the guard captain and steward Yangliu were still furrowed. They know that with such a large population of heavenly demon poisonous insects, there must be a heavenly demon poisonous insect king. Only by defeating this heavenly demon poisonous insect king can they drive away the insect swarm. Otherwise, under the command of the insect king, these heavenly demon poisonous insects are fearless and will not retreat. Blue blood sword, burning Qiang sword. Following the middle-aged monk's loud shout, 2 beams of dazzling light shot into the sky. 2 pieces of law weapon intertwined into a bright light curtain in the air. Just some beasts. The middle-aged monk showed a confident smile and then prepared to kill everyone. However, a cloud of purple-black poisonous mist was like a death scythe, coming quietly at a strange angle. The middle-aged monk's expression changed drastically. 2 pieces of law weapon are blocking him. But the law weapon only persisted for a moment in front of the poisonous mist before losing its spirituality. 2 3rd-level law weapons turned into scrap metal in the blink of an eye, falling weakly onto the deck with a dull sound. Boom! The body of Brother Baodin was like a piece of rag, hitting the deck of Shancha, causing a violent vibration. What the hell? It's over, it's all over now. Even the monk holding pills was killed instantly. How can we resist this heavenly demon poisonous insect king? What should I do? Panic and despair spread among the crowd. Senior, the captain of the escort team quickly stepped forward to check. But the monk had no breath. His body was covered with pits corroded by the poisonous mist, and even his white bones were exposed. With just one blow, the heavenly demon poisonous insect king actually killed an elixir-level monk instantly. Level 5. The guard captain's desperate voice sounded. The 5th-level heavenly demon poisonous insect king, now, we're dead. Everyone's expressions changed drastically. 5th-level monster. Now, even the seniors in the Danbao realm were instantly killed with one blow. How could low-level monks like them be spared? As for escaping, don't even think about it. The heavenly demon poisonous insect bursts out very fast, and can even catch up with Shansha within a short distance. Kill. Yonglu's face was as pale as paper. The spiritual power in her body had been exhausted, but she was still trying her best to fight the heavenly demon poisonous insect. Don't give up, we still have hope. After killing all the heavenly demon poisonous insects around him, Yonglu gasped for breath, adjusted his breath, looked at the closed door, and murmured in a low voice. Master Lu should not be the kind of person who runs away from battle. After adjusting his breath, Yangliu's cold and firm voice resounded throughout the Shansha mountain again. Fellow Taoist, don't lose your mind. Please follow me to resist the attacks of monsters with all your strength. We still have a chance. The spiritual cannon no longer has enough spiritual power to fire. The defensive formation is on the verge of collapse. Facing dozens of times the number of heavenly demon poisonous insects, and the heavenly demon poisonous insect king that can instantly kill anyone present. This is a desperate situation. But Yangliu is the last glimmer of hope in this desperate situation. Although her cultivation level is not the highest, she has brought a bit of enthusiasm to everyone through her actions. Yes, the monks' responses were loud and their blood boiled in their chests. I'm waiting to help Miss Yang. Everyone, follow me to kill the enemy. In times of life and death, it can inspire the ferocity and courage in people's hearts. Encouraged by Yonglu, the monks on Shansha were eager to fight. In one moment, he killed a wave of heavenly demon poisonous insects. However, the number of heavenly demon poisonous insects seems to be endless. Every time one is killed, 10 or hundreds of them swarm forward. There is no way to kill them all. Under the continuous attacks of the heavenly demon poisonous insects, more and more cracks appeared on the defensive cover around Shansha, like ice that was about to break, and it could completely collapse at any time. Finally, a bright golden light exploded, the defensive formation was broken. Under the continuous attacks of the heavenly demon poisonous insects, more and more cracks appeared on the defensive cover around Shansha. Boom! Everyone's face turned extremely pale. Without the defensive formation, they would be defenseless and would be instantly overwhelmed by tens of thousands of heavenly demon poisonous insects. Yangliu was also hit by the heavenly demon poisonous insect and fell to the deck. She looked through the melee crowd and looked at the door of Shanzi number 1 again. Hope to see that young man again. Master Lu, please save us. It seems Willow's prayers worked. At this moment, the door was slowly pushed open, revealing white clothes and silver armor, black hair and eyes. I was studying martial arts just now, and I was a little absorbed in it. Sorry everyone. Boom. With a loud noise, the young man in white stepped through the void and stepped out of the Shanzi room number 1. Like a sharp knife coming out of its sheath. The other guests on Shansha were so oppressed by this momentum that they could hardly breathe, and large beads of sweat could not help falling from their foreheads. The heavenly demon poisonous insects that were about to rush towards Shansha turned around and ran away like frightened little rabbits in front of this momentum. There are masters too. We still have masters on Shansha. Oh my god, is this the Danbao realm? Or, the primordial spirit realm? But this person is so young, could he be the genius of some holy land? There were screams of surprise. Everyone's eyes turned to the young man in white. The young man stands with one hand on his back, his waist and back are straight, and his clothes are fluttering, showing his natural and unrestrained appearance. He stood there without saying a word, making it impossible to look away. Senior, please save my life. Senior, please kill the heavenly demon poisonous insect. All the monks raised their hands and saluted Lu Yuan. They know very well that this is their only hope of survival. Only such a strong person can lead them to fight a way out among the tens of thousands of heavenly demon poisonous insects. Yonglu dragged his seriously wounded body with a smile on his pale face. Although she was seriously injured, she knew that they could be saved. Lu Yuan nodded. He had just discovered a very interesting martial art, and he was so absorbed in studying it that he didn't really notice what was happening at the outer gate for a while. The next moment, Lu Yuan's figure had disappeared. Whoosh! The Zanpakudo is unsheathed. Covered by spiritual power, the pitch-black blade instantly turned into snow-white color, and the blurry figure of a young man was reflected on the blade. Lu Yuan stood in the sky, facing tens of thousands of heavenly demon poisonous insects alone. In such a formation, No matter how you look at it, the young man is the weak one. However, the most surprising thing happened. Those originally ferocious poisonous insects began to reverse direction and run away desperately. Even the 5th level heavenly demon poisonous insect king has no desire to fight. It felt an unprecedented death threat from Lu Yuan. If you don't escape, you will become a dead insect. Reverse heavenly demon blade. Lu Yuan stood in the void, his eyes slightly closed, and his hands forming seals. Spiritual power gathered, and a huge formation full of ancient aura appeared behind him. The Zanpakuto floated quietly in front of him. As the spiritual power surged in Lu Yuan's body, the space around him began to distort, and thousands of blades seemed to fly out of his body. These blades may be long or short, or have the power of blood or can corrode spiritual power. Each one contains strange and powerful power. These blades were attached to the huge formation behind Lu Yuan, weaving into a huge net in the air, covering the entire sky. Cut. Following Lu Yuan's thought, the Zanpakuto turned into a beam of light and shot out. Thousands of blades on the array diagram followed closely behind. They flew like dragons, tracing mysterious trajectories in the air. Wherever the blade passed, the heavenly demon poisonous insects fell downwards like dumplings. Soon, the dark sky lit up again. Lu Yuan's eyes turned to the extraordinarily huge insect king, and his eyes narrowed slightly. Under his control, thousands of blades converged into a huge sword energy, which directly completely submerged the body of the heavenly demon poisonous insect king. Everyone was stunned. Lu Yuan single-handedly killed all the heavenly demon poisonous insects, and he did so in such an exaggerated and shocking way. Even the heavenly demon poisonous insect king had no room to resist. Sure enough, this is the real strong man. This is simply divine. Primordial spirit realm. This is definitely the powerhouse of primordial spirit realm. Oh my god, that sword skill is simply exaggerated. Only after possessing the primordial spirit can one control such complex sword techniques and kill tens of thousands of heavenly demon poisonous insects at the same time. Ordinary primordial spirit realm monks shouldn't be able to control tens of thousands of blades at the same time. The key thing is that this senior is full of energy and looks like he is only in his 20s. Such a young primordial spirit realm may even have a chance to enter the Violet Palace realm in the future. Sigh, I'm always shocked when faced with such a genius. It feels like I've been living on a dog for hundreds of years. Quote. After life and death, the monks on Shancha were filled with emotion. Of course, Lu Yuan would definitely complain if he heard others say that he was the proud son of heaven. In the system simulation, he had spent tens of thousands of years before he could enter the primordial spirit realm. Such qualifications, it's really not worthy of the word, Tianzhao. However, there is no way, who gave him so much longevity? Crisis averted. Yang Lu dragged his seriously wounded body to Lu Yuan and saluted, Mr. Lu, thanks to your intervention this time, otherwise we might not have been able to escape death this time. Lu Yuan looked indifferent, it's just because these bugs blocked my way. Before he finished speaking, he turned around and left. Looking at the young man's back, Yang Lu's eyes were full of admiration and awe, and he murmured in a low voice, as expected of the young genius, Mr. Lu has actually reached the primordial spirit realm. So, his talent is even higher than the legendary Zhang Mushui. Afterwards, everyone on Shancha began to guess Lu Yuan's identity. Such a young primordial spirit realm powerhouse must be a genius from a big force. 5 major sects, or the sovereign clan of the Lingwu kingdom. Could it be that he is from the legendary Holy Land? Lu Yuan naturally heard everyone's discussion. Where is he from? 9 Shadow Demon sect. He has no sense of belonging, so naturally he will not go back. What's more, his stage is not in a small sect. His goal is to become the strongest. The experience in this world made Lu Yuan completely understand a truth. The weak eat the strong. Only the strongest are qualified to make rules. After killing all the heavenly demon poisonous insects, the entire immortal tower exuded a strong smell of blood. Coupled with the lack of defensive formations, it naturally attracted several groups of monsters to attack along the way. Lu Yuan easily cleared all obstacles. However, Lu Yuan felt a little disappointed in his heart. Killing monsters can't plunder longevity. Is it because of racial issues? Only by killing the monsters in the transformation realm can you plunder longevity. The system prompt came, and a look of understanding flashed in Lu Yuan's eyes. The great monster in the transformation realm is equivalent to the human golden body realm monk. Moreover, the longevity of monsters is longer. Once you can kill the transformed great monster, your lifespan will definitely skyrocket. 2 days later, Shancha finally arrived at its destination and slowly docked at the huge port outside the forbidden area of Skull Mountain. 2 days later, Forbidden Ancient City. Forbidden Ancient City. It is the ruins of an ancient building, larger than the celestial immortal city. Outside the city gate, the monks were coming and going, and every breath was very tyrannical. After all, this is the city closest to Skull Mountain. Skull Mountain. This is one of the most mysterious ancient ruins. All the major forces in the entire continent will send powerful disciples to come here to practice. Kill monsters and find opportunities. There are even branches established by various major sects in Lingwu Kingdom. 9 Shadow Demon Sect, Beast Control Sect, Sword Sect, Fenxiang Valley, Qingyan Sect. These 5 major forces are the strongest sects in Lingwu Kingdom. But, Lu Yuan looked at the entire city. It was a very luxurious building. The willow girl on the fairy tree once said, "In this forbidden ancient city, the most unprovoked force is not the 5 major sects, but the city lord's palace of the forbidden ancient city." Not only because the city lord is powerful, he is a primordial spirit realm monk. The most important thing is that he comes from the sovereign clan of Lingwu Kingdom. The Lingwu Kingdom's sovereign clan is powerful. Not only does it have more monks in the Danbao realm than the 5 major sects. It is even said to have the power of Violet Palace realm. I don't know if it's true or not. However, for now, there is no interest entanglement between Lu Yuan and the royal family of Lingwu Kingdom. Of course, it doesn't matter even if there is. He has enough confidence and is not afraid of any force or anyone. Soon, we arrived at the busiest area of the entire forbidden ancient city. Exchange. There are many treasures in the forbidden area of Skull Mountain, and most of those who gain something from it will trade directly here. Of course, there are more liars. Take a look, the cave mansion jade token for a strong person with a golden body. If you enter, you can obtain the inheritance of a strong person with a golden body. It will soar to the sky. A vendor waved the jade token in his hand and shouted at the top of his lungs. With, "Brother, my ancestral tiger-slaying sword can cut iron like clay." Another stall owner brandished a rusty long knife and sold Lu Yuan with a smile on his face. Quote. As soon as he walked in, several vendors pulled Lu Yuan's arms and forced him to sell. But once these traders sense his powerful aura, he will immediately stay away and not dare to continue to harass him. Lu Yuan shook his head helplessly and glanced at the surrounding stalls. Most of them are fake. And it was so fake that he didn't even want to take a second look. He observed as he walked, but didn't find anything interesting. At the corner of the street, there was a group of people who were very busy. Apparently someone had found something good. Lu Yuan slowly walked behind everyone. Huang Jia's martial arts, beast control techniques. It's really good stuff. This is something from the beast control sect. Dare to openly sell the martial arts of the 5 major sects. Such a scene may only appear in this forbidden ancient city. The martial arts of the beast control sect is quite good. Able to tame monsters. Which monk doesn't want to ride a majestic and domineering mount, pretend to be cool and flirt with girls? It's great. Not really. Taming a few cute pets and flirting with girls is also very popular. However, this book is only about Huang level martial arts, and the level is too low. To Lu Yuan, it was of little value. Continue walking inside. Lu Yuan's eyes stayed directly on a stall. It was a thin monk with triangular eyes. There were only 5 martial arts slips on the stall in front of him. There is also a seal on the martial arts jade slip. Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly as his soul swept over him. It was indeed the ancient sect's method of sealing martial arts. The triangular-eyed monk raised his voice and yelled. This is the secret technique of the ghost control sect in ancient legends. As long as you learn this method, you can devour the soul, nourish the spirit and control ghosts. Moreover, the method of controlling ghosts is more practical than the method of controlling beasts, because the ghosts controlled are not living creatures in the strict sense, but part of the manipulator. Even if enough souls are devoured, the ghost can grow in strength. This is much more cost-effective than the Lao Shizi technique of the beast control sect. The crowd around him immediately started to boil. After all, if it is true as he said, as long as you have these few martial arts books, you can get a fighter who can improve your strength. And absolutely loyal. Such martial arts is enough to make everyone jealous. There is no reserve price for this item. If you want to trade it, just put the spirit stone or treasure in the storage bag and let me check it. The triangular-eyed monk is very cautious. This kind of transaction is to avoid being robbed. Good stuff. Lu Yuan's soul swept over the 5 jade slips. The rich flavor of time cannot be faked. I bought it, but there is no use keeping the low-grade spirit stone anyway. The sword finger moved slightly, and a purple storage bag arced through the air and fell into the hands of the triangular-eyed monk. Everyone looked back. I want this martial arts. Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly, and an indifferent voice came from behind. Just showing a little bit of breath. The people around him consciously gave way to a passage. The stall owner looked at the 50,000 low-grade spiritual stones in the storage bag, and his eyes burst into joy. 50,000 pieces. On average, a book of martial arts is worth 10,000 low-grade spiritual stones. This is a price he can't even imagine. The stall owner immediately bowed and respectfully presented the 5 jade slips with both hands. The next moment, the 5 jade slips and the young man's figure disappeared completely under everyone's eyes. Only an indifferent voice echoed in everyone's ears. If there is any problem with martial arts, I will kill you. Later, Lu Yuan rented a training place, took out 5 jade slips, and began to study them. These 5 martial arts are all Zon-level martial arts. Each one is a way to control ghosts. Ghost controlling technique swallowing souls. The secret of controlling ghosts, raising ghosts. Guide to control ghost. An hour later, Lu Yuan read through all 5 books on martial arts, and then began to simulate. Although his qualifications are still very poor, but now that he has advanced to the primordial spirit realm, his powerful soul has improved his ability to understand, and it is still easy to practice this kind of Zon-level martial arts. You start to write about practicing ghost control technique swallowing souls. You started to write about the practice of ghost controlling technique, raising ghosts. You start to write about the practice of ghost controlling technique, controlling ghosts. Opening square bracket, closing square bracket. Soon, it only took 267 years for these 5 martial arts to reach perfection. Integrated martial arts. Lost. The art of controlling ghosts. Swallowing souls. The art of controlling ghosts. Raising ghosts. The art of controlling ghosts. Controlling ghosts. Obtain. Heavenly level martial arts. 1,000 souls sacrifice. Ghost and God's edict enhanced. What a domineering name. Lu Yuan checked briefly and then began to simulate. You begin to practice 1,000 soul sacrifice, edict of ghosts and gods. This martial arts is the most complex martial arts you have ever seen since coming to this world. Your head feels a little itchy. In the 13th year, with your powerful soul, your edict of ghosts and gods finally started. You can see a world that you couldn't see before, a world of ghosts. In the 74th year, with your unremitting efforts, the edict of ghosts and gods broke through to the realm of basic accomplishment, and the power of your soul skyrocketed. In the 856th year, you successfully broke through the edict of ghosts and gods to the state of supernatural transformation, and your cultivation level also broke through to the primordial spirit 4th layer. Consumption of plundered longevity, 856 years. 1,000 soul sacrifice edict of ghosts and gods enhanced close double angle bracket, not yet started right pointing arrow, superb. Cultivation. Primordial spirit 3rd layer right pointing arrow 4th layer. Remaining plundered longevity, 579 years. Lu Yuan slowly opened his eyes. A large amount of martial arts insights and cultivation were fed back into his body. This martial arts is very domineering. Lu Yuan even feels that the potential of this martial arts is stronger than the heavenly demon blade. Because the edict of ghosts and gods swallows ghosts. They are indeed ghosts and gods after being raised. Immediately afterwards, it means that the cultivation level is improved and the soul is skyrocketing. Lu Yuan's soul was more than 10 times stronger than before. Moreover, the 1,000-soul sacrifice and ghost and god edict also comes with many methods of controlling the souls. Master these methods. The soul is not only more functional, but also directly has a certain combat effectiveness. As for the combat power, it still needs to be tested. Lu Yuan thought. The invisible power of the soul spreads in all directions like ripples falling on the horizontal surface. The powerful soul presented everything in Lu Yuan's mind with incomparable clarity. It's like being there. You can even hear the sound. This kind of experience is somewhat novel. Lu Yuan controlled the soul and wandered throughout the city. Seeing a sleeping pulse condensation realm monk, Lu Yuan controlled this ray of soul and penetrated directly into the opponent's body. Then he felt everything in the other person's body very clearly. Whether it is the internal organs, muscles, fascia, or meridians and spiritual power. They can all see it very clearly. He actually scanned the other party's body without the other party noticing. Of course, this ability is also limited. When Lu Yuan set his target on a Danbao realm monk, the strong man holding the pill immediately felt something. The other party's face turned pale, and he knelt down on the ground with a thump, kowtowing and begging for mercy. Senior, spare this villain's life. Lu Yuan was thoughtful. If you forcefully explore the Baodan monk, you will be discovered. But if he wanted to, he could crush the elixir-holding monk to death in an instant. Subsequently, Lu Yuan's spirit continues to explore the forbidden ancient city. This time his target is the city lord's mansion. But just as he was about to enter, he was blocked by a formation. Sure enough, it's still impossible to penetrate the defensive formation. Lu Yuan's hands kept changing. That ray of soul turned into a huge hammer of soul, hammering crazily on the defensive formation. Soon, the formation was covered with cracks, and it seemed that it would collapse at the slightest touch. The attendants in the city lord's palace realized that someone was attacking the magic circle and immediately started shouting loudly. Lu Yuan's soul had already quietly entered the city lord's mansion. After these several tests, Lu Yuanfa had a sufficient understanding of his soul. The exploration range is wider, the functions are more, and the power is greater. It is much more convenient to use. Today, Lu Yuanren is still sitting cross-legged in the practice room. However, the spirit was more than 10 miles away, easily intimidating the Baodan monk, breaking through the magic circle, and entering the heavily guarded city lord's mansion. The corners of Lu Yuan's mouth raised slightly. Come all come. Anyway, you have to go to the city lord's mansion to see if there is anything good. Town. This is a method of amplifying the divine soul in the martial arts of 1,000-soul sacrifice and ghost order. By burning the soul, the full power is unleashed in a short time. Boom. That ray of soul exploded hundreds of times under the amplification of martial arts. The power of the soul swept through the city lord's mansion. The defensive formation, which was originally full of cracks, immediately shattered. Hundreds of attendants with Guiyuan realm strength were all terrified, and some even fainted due to poor psychological quality. The next moment, Lu Yuan's soul suddenly appeared in the study. A sturdy middle-aged man sat cross-legged in front of the desk, with gold patterns surrounding his body. The city lord was furious, but he could only surrender and said, "I don't know which senior is here, please show up and say something." Immediately afterwards, a cold snort came from behind the city lord. "How dare you break into the city lord's mansion at night?" Until now, only then did Lu Yuan see an old man with white hair wearing plain clothes. Before Lu Yuan could see his figure clearly. Then a spirit as majestic as the sea slammed over him. At the same time, Lu Yuan's soul had been burned out and completely dissipated. The spirit returns. Lu Yuan came to the window and looked in the direction of the city lord's mansion. Now, the city lord's mansion has been reduced to ruins, and a Taoist shadow keeps crossing the night sky. It is obvious that the guards of the city lord's mansion have begun full martial law. Lu Yuan scratched his head awkwardly. Originally I just wanted to test it randomly. Who would have thought that a master would emerge from the explosion? Violet Palace Realm. I am afraid that no one in this entire city knows that there is a master of the Violet Palace Realm hidden behind the city lord. However, this own incident also made Lu Yuan aware of the ultimate combat power of his soul. With the blessing of 1,000-soul sacrifice, edict of ghosts and gods, his soul has become comparable to the monks of Violet Palace Realm. coupled with heaven-level body training martial arts and heaven-level sword skills. Lu Yuan was confident that he could defeat the mysterious Violet Palace monk behind the city lord in battle. As for whether it can be killed, it depends on the situation. After all, every monk who can enter Violet Palace realm is a genius among geniuses. And there must be powerful forces behind it, or many great opportunities to promote it. Coupled with thousands of years of practice, they have mastered a large number of martial arts and various life-saving techniques. It must be very difficult. Therefore, even if Lu Yuan mastered many martial arts across levels, it would be difficult to fight beyond levels. But what Lu Yuan didn't know was, after his soul dissipated, the mysterious strong man in the City Lord's palace immediately turned serious. City Lord, this person's strength is unfathomable. If there is not much loss, it is best not to have a grudge against him. Master Mu is right. Next, our energy should still be focused on the secret realm of Skull Mountain. As long as you capture the secret treasure, you will definitely be able to step into the Violet Palace realm. The new martial arts training has been completed. And by the way, I tested the power of martial arts. Lu Yuan was ready to leave the forbidden ancient city. He can't wait to use the Edict of Ghosts and Gods to devour some souls. Condensate a ghost and god. But before that, some preparations are needed. Lu Yuan walked around the city for a long time. On the streets of the ancient city in the Forbidden City, crowds of people were bustling, and the sounds of various vendors hawking could be heard one after another. Lu Yuan traveled between major chambers of commerce and spent tens of thousands of spiritual stones. A large number of elixirs and talismans were purchased, as well as various gadgets that can be used in forbidden areas. After all, we were going to the Skull Mountain Forbidden Area. Be more prepared for backup. Always good. It's just that something unsightly is eyeing Lu Yuan, the rich and powerful, hot cake. Lu Yuan chuckled, a trace of disdain flashing in his eyes. It just so happens that the lifespan is almost exhausted. Then, he swaggered out of the main entrance of the Forbidden Ancient City. Shua. Lu Yuan suppressed his speed and soon arrived in the woods somewhere outside the Forbidden Ancient City. The miasma here is pervasive, the field of vision is extremely low, and the soul will be suppressed by this miasma. Not far behind him, there are several Taoist shadows that think they are tracking perfectly. This kid must be a fat sheep. Have you found out your origins and cultivation level? He seems to have just arrived in the ancient city of Forbidden City. He doesn't have much information. I only know that this kid is alone and consumed a lot of spiritual stones in the 2 days in the city. He is indeed rich. I followed him today and threw tens of thousands of spiritual stones without blinking an eye. Although I don't know his origin, this kid is only in his 20s. What if he is a genius of a certain sect? Yes, I think the way he acted in the Forbidden Ancient City seems to be that of a young boy with little experience. If we catch this kid, we will make a lot of money. Yeah, but be more careful, said the thin man wearing a bamboo hat at the front. The only twist was that they couldn't see through this kid's cultivation. However, for a young man in his 20s, his strength is probably at Guiyuan realm at best. Find an opportunity to take action. Seeing Lu Yuan entering the miasma forest, several people hesitated for a while, but driven by greed, they still rushed in. But just entered the forest. They saw the young man standing with his hands behind his back, as if he was standing there waiting for them. Too slow. An indifferent voice came. Lu Yuan was really impatient and didn't want to waste any more time. Kill. A blade flew out of his body, cutting a strange trajectory in midair, and slashed towards those people. It's broken. It hit the iron plate. Primordial Spirit Realm. He is Primordial Spirit Realm. Run away. Ah, but as soon as several people turned around, their necks were cut by the strange blade. As screams came one after another, the miasma forest became quiet again. Congratulations to the host, for killing an independent cultivator, at the early stage of cultivation. Total lifespan, 790 years. Remaining lifespan, 300 years. Successfully plundered Shoyuan, 300 years. Congratulations to the host, for killing an independent cultivator, your cultivation. As more than a dozen storage bags appeared in his hands, a system prompt sounded in Lu Yuan's mind. A total of 1,391 years were harvested. Not bad. I briefly checked these storage bags and found nothing of value. After the murder, Lu Yuan did not leave directly. Instead, he first circulated the edicts of ghosts and gods and devoured the souls of several people. It's a pity that these people's cultivation level is too low, and they only condensed a fist-sized ghost mist. Then Lu Yuan turned into a stream of light and disappeared into the miasma forest. This place is still far away from the Skull Mountain Forbidden Area. Even at Lu Yuan's speed, it would take a day. After a few hours, a figure with golden light rushed into the miasma forest. The monk was wearing cassocks, with a round figure and kind eyes. But the aura on his body is very powerful. The monk bent down and scratched the body on the ground with his fleshy palm, and golden light suddenly appeared. Lu Yuan's aura. There are also traces of ancient ghost control techniques. The monk's breathing was a little rapid. Very good. As long as I possess this martial arts, I can control Buddha. By then, I will become the strongest monk in Violet Palace. A hoarse voice echoed in the miasma woods. The figure of the hooded monk turned into a golden stream of light, tracking away in the direction of Lu Yuan. Kill, beast, how dare you hurt my brother? A roaring sound could be heard as a group of mercenaries were fighting with a third-level wolf king. Suddenly, a powerful aura struck from a distance, and a bloody stream of light passed over the heads of everyone. The third-level wolf king seemed to have encountered a natural enemy, and ran away in fear. It took Lu Yuan a whole day to cross the entire perimeter of Skull Mountain. Arrive at the entrance to Skull Mountain. Lu Yuan stood in the sky. The huge mountain range in front is like a sleeping giant, stretching between heaven and earth. Darkness enveloped the sky like ink, and a terrifying aura raged across the land. The strong wind roared, rolling up the sand and dust on the ground, revealing the dense bones hidden underneath. The entire mountain range, including the underground, is covered with the bones of various creatures. This is the forbidden area of Skull Mountain. At the entrance of Skull Mountain, there are 2 rows of huge ribs thousands of meters high. They seem to be the portal to another world, mysterious and weird. Passing through this portal, you can see a huge stone tablet with 3 powerful characters engraved on it, Skull Mountain. 3 golden characters shine brightly on the stone tablet, exuding a mysterious and ancient atmosphere. Directly in front of the stone tablet, tens of thousands of monks were bathed in this golden light. They seemed to be polishing their bodies through this golden light. This golden light seems to contain some kind of magical power. The higher the cultivation level of the monks bathed in the light, the closer they can get to the core area of the golden light. At the edge of the golden light, the monks in the Guiyuan realm sat cross-legged. The closer to the center, the higher the monk's cultivation level. Until the core area, there are more than a dozen strong men from the primordial spirit realm standing there. The golden light there is also particularly dazzling. These primordial spirit realm monks are receiving the baptism of golden light as if they are bathing in divine grace. Lu Yuan felt this special power dozens of miles away. There seemed to be some extremely profound law contained in this power, which made his whole body feel restless. His physical body has been tempered by heaven-level body-refining martial arts and is extremely powerful. Even a full blow from the Danbao realm cannot break through his defense. However, just the fluctuations emanating from the stone tablet actually made his blood boil. This managed to get his attention. Lu Yuan heard Miss Yangliu mention it when he was on Shansha before. There are many mysteries in Skull Mountain. But he didn't expect that even the stone placed at the door would have such a magical effect. Lu Yuan moved and fell directly behind the monks. He did not notice that as his cultivation and strength increased, his temperament had undergone earth-shaking changes. Now, standing among these ordinary monks, he is like a tiger standing among sheep. That unique temperament let him immediately become the center of attention. The monks around him felt the powerful aura exuding from Lu Yuan's body, and they all looked sideways, secretly guessing the origin of this young man. This person's aura is so special. I can't see through his cultivation level. And he's very young. He must be a disciple of some big force. Alas, people from a small family like us have no law manifestation to compare with such a genius. Ignore what others say. Lu Yuan slowly went deeper into the direction of the stone monument. As the distance gets closer, the coercion becomes stronger, and the tempering effect of the golden light on the body becomes more and more obvious. Of course, this effect is infinitely close to zero for Lu Yuan. His physical body is too strong, and ordinary coercion has no effect at all. You can only enter the core area to take a look. But Lu Yuan's move towards the core area immediately aroused the sidelong glances and admiration of the surrounding monks. He actually went inside. My God, he can withstand the golden light effortlessly. His physical strength must be extremely strong. I'm in the Danbao realm, and this golden light is like a huge mountain, weighing me down so much that I can't breathe. But how can this young man be so relaxed? A middle-aged monk with a huge mole on his chin stared wide-eyed. It's him. It's him. It was this young man who saved the Shansha we were riding in before. Really, is he that powerful? People around him obviously didn't believe it. It's awesome, it's beyond your imagination. Forget it, you don't even understand it. The middle-aged man immediately held the golden light, reluctantly came behind Lu Yuan, cupped his hands and said, Senior, I served as a guard on the previous Immortal Cha, and I would like to thank my senior for saving his life. Lu Yuan nodded and responded calmly, it doesn't matter. He turned his eyes to the middle-aged man and asked doubtfully, why are you all practicing here? Senior doesn't know. The middle-aged man was a little surprised. However, he did not dare to continue asking and immediately began to explain. Senior, this Skull Mountain is the site of an ancient sect and has been around for thousands of years. The 3 words, Skull Mountain, are the paints made from the corpses of strong men in the golden body realm. Even after thousands of years, the aura of this golden body has become very weak due to the wear and tear of time, but it can still temper the physical body. It is said that some people have learned the golden body technique from it and successfully broke through to the golden body state. Lu Yuan raised his eyebrows. The ancient sect from thousands of years ago. Use the body of a strong person in the golden body realm as paint. After thousands of years, you can still feel the aura of the golden body realm, which can help people temper their physical bodies. Every word is shocking. Lu Yuan cupped his hands and thank you very much. The middle-aged man waved his hand quickly, Senior, you're welcome. With your senior's cultivation, you can directly enter the core area, where the golden light aura is even stronger. Farewell. Lu Yuan raised his feet, and dozens of afterimages were instantly left on the ground. His figure disappeared like a ghost. At this moment, a suspicious voice came. Lu Yuan, isn't this that trash? How could he, a loser, come here? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.